Okay, thank you, MC. That is MC's Hammer Time for your Saturday here on ABC Sport. Just saw a thing before as well from South Sydney as far as a public announcement about Alex Johnston's impending bit of history, and it's on the AJ213 letterhead on their social media here, and it says, as Alex Johnston approaches NRL history, this is tonight's game, potentially, or next week, or the coming weeks, excitement is building across our passionate members and supporters. When AJ breaks the record, we ask that fans celebrate from the stands. So they're discouraging fans from flooding the field. Entering the playing field carries significant penalties, including fines up to $5,500 and stadium bans. We will ensure members and supporters have the opportunity to celebrate with Alex Johnston at our next home games.
I'm going to say that's
official word from the Rabbitohs this morning.
The only reason I say that is because we're going into something that we probably never see again. Or maybe Daniel Tupou, depending on how long he plays for. But I love that when the AFL did it and had all their players run, all the supporters running the field. I loved it. I thought it was an iconic moment. The photos are phenomenal.
I was there. Buddy Franklin, yeah. Unbelievable. Off to Shark Park very shortly. I think this next game tips itself, Louis and MC. But beyond just getting the win, what are the Sharks most keen to rectify from their upset loss last week?
Oh, they just need to win. I don't know. To rectify, like for me, everything. They had a shocker last week. They didn't defend their best. Their attack was off. They looked very pedestrian. So, I think coming out tonight this afternoon, against these Titans and really showcasing what's important and defending well, getting their line speed, doing all the simple things really, really well, and putting a score on this Titan side.
It's a bit like the Warriors last night. You just got to win. Get their season, back on track. They've shown glimpses that they were really good a couple of weeks ago against North Queensland in that first half. If they can get to that level with the footy, they'll win well.
You can keep your texts coming through the afternoon and evening, 0467 920 222. We're back with the Between Game show after 5 o'clock with our special guest, retired Eels back rower Sean Lane. Let's get to the Shire for the first of our 3 games on this Saturday on ABC Sport, and say a very good afternoon once again to Glenn Lauder.
Spriggy, good afternoon from a Shark Park that is bathed in sunshine on the lands of the Dharawal people. It's great to have your company as the 8th place Sharks take on the 17th place Gold Coast Titans. Can the Titans find their way off the bottom of the ladder before the end of the NRL season, and they try to avoid their 3rd wooden spoon? And can the Cronulla Sharks continue to consolidate their spot in the top 8 after, of course, Luke Lewis just touched on that poor performance against their local rivals St George Illawarra last week? They had won 4 in a row before that, so it's not all bad for the Cronulla Sharks, and they will try to get it done against the Gold Coast Titans this afternoon, who have only been here once since 2019. That was in 2023, and they got thrashed 36 points to 6, so not a happy hunting ground for the Gold Coast Titans. Of course, these 2 teams have played quite a bit in Coffs Harbour over the last few years. Kiana Takarangi will be on the sideline for us. We'll get down to her in just a few moments, but as just about always, Dean Hallertau is alongside me. Haller, good to see you again. What are you expecting this afternoon as the Sharks look to bounce back from that derby loss?
Yeah, good afternoon again, Glenn. I think they'll have a lot to prove in terms of their performances as they start to get towards the finals. And yeah, it was disappointing last week. They were out enthused. So I think the first thing that we'll see from the Sharks is a really intense opening 20 minutes, and they'll look to maintain that throughout the match. We know that Craig Fitzgibbon's a bit of a culture guy. Like, he really wants to build a team that has good values and really uphold those in their behaviours. And I think one of those is being a tough team defensively and with the ball in hand. So we'll see an aggressive side, I think, to start this match.
And as Indigenous round continues, we are having the acknowledgement of country from Auntie Deanna Schreiber, and the Sharks will be led out in a guard of honour by the cultural performance, the Muggerat Deadly Choices ambassadors as well. So it's great to see them involved for Indigenous round. And Jaden Campbell, of course, a proud Indigenous man, and his father, of course, playing for both clubs, leading the sides out along with Brayden Trindle for the Cronulla Sharks. As soaking up the atmosphere down there for us this afternoon, Kiana Takarangi, good afternoon to you. How is it down there?
Hey boys, it is great down here. The sun is out, there's blue skies, there's a little bit of a southerly wind though, so slightly gusty down here, but it's 17 degrees at the moment, feels like 13 degrees because of the wind, but I'm looking forward to a good game of footy. I think think the boys will be able to throw the ball around a bit today because it is a dry pitch. So looking forward to this game.
And a really nice moment as well for the Cronulla Sharks with David Peachy leading the Sharks out as well, the former Cronulla fullback, and also the NRL W side still kitted up after their clash against the Titans a little earlier. They are forming a guard of honour with the Sharks and also the Gold Coast Titans NRL W team, as well as the kids there from the Deadly Choices, and it's wonderful to see the smoking ceremony and the Welcome to Country, which we may have a listen to now. Joel, we may not have that audio, but Auntie Deanna Schreiber is presenting the acknowledgement of country here at Shark Park, and of course a really important match for both sides. The Titans, as I mentioned, trying to get off the bottom of the ladder, and the Cronulla Sharks looking to move back a little higher up that top 8. There are a couple of changes which I'll go through in a couple of moments, but Dean Hallertau, when we look at the forward packs of these two sides, there's some big boppers. Aiden Fanua-Blake and obviously Toby Rudolph as well can get it done. He's a bit more mobile. Mo Fodawaker is a huge presence as well for the Titans. And then I really like their bench with Regan Campbell-Gillard coming off the bench as well, and of course Tino coming back. So the forward packs could have a really big bearing on this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real battle up front, as you say. And Toby Rudolph, who's getting a start today, he's come back from injury and had to sort of fight his way into the starting side, and lining up alongside Aiden Fanua-Blake. It's a fairly decent front row. We know that Blake Brayley's having a great season, so he'll look to bring them onto the ball as much as possible. But yeah, like you said, on the other side there, Fodawaker, Jamin Jolliffe, who's a bit of a really trustworthy prop. He gets through the work well, carries the ball strong, and then you've got a fairly like-for-like in Regan Campbell-Gillard coming off the bench.
So the Peach, David Peachy, great to see him back at Shark Park. He played 232 games for the club before heading off to South Sydney late in his career, Tino.
I remember I played against David Peachy at Leichhardt in my second game, and he absolutely smashed me. I love David Peachy. What a graceful run of the ball he was.
He was fantastic to watch at the back for the Cronulla Sharks. And as I said, there are a couple of team changes which I'll go through in a moment. Don't forget, you can get involved as well on 0467920222. We are going right across the nation on ABC Sport Digital via the ABC Listen app and ABC Local Radio. And of course, a very good afternoon if you are listening throughout the Pacific on Radio Australia. Kiana Takarangi, Dean Hallertau, I'm Glenn Lauder, and the Cronulla Sharks fullback is Will Kennedy. Their wingers are Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Mulatalo. Maween Hiroti and Sifa Talakai are the centres. Braden Trindle and Nicho Hynes in the halves. Aiden Fanua-Blake and Toby Rudolph up front. Blake Brayley is the hooker. Billy Burns and Teague Wilton in the second row. Cam McGuinness is the lock forward. The bench is made up of 15 Jesse Colquhoun, Thomas Hazelton in 16, Tuku Hautapua in 18, and Hohepa Puru in 19. And their 18th man is Daniel Atkinson in 14. The Titans, AJ Brimson is the fullback. Jalen de Groot is the winger alongside Tony Francis. The wingers, Phil Sammy and Bo Fermor in 12. The halves are Kieran Foran and Jaden Campbell. Mo Fodawaker and Jamin Jolliffe in the front row. Sam Verrills is the hooker. Chris Randall and in 17, Joshua Paxton are in the second row. And Big Tino is the lock forward. The bench is Regan Campbell-Gillard, Isaac Fasua-Mala Awi, Keanu Kinney and Jacob Alec. Their 18th man is Tui Simpkins. They are underway. Cronulla is kicking towards the southern end of Shark Park, and Jamin Jolliffe has the first carry for the Gold Coast Titans. The Sharks playing in their Indigenous round kit, and the Gold Coast Titans in their predominantly white and sky blue as they come away from their own end. About 27 away from their own line, running from right to left on your radio dial, and they will continue this set about 30 metres away from their line as Paxton gets up and plays the ball, playing on the left edge with Jojo Fafita out with an ankle injury, so a late change for the Gold Coast Titans. Braden Hamlin-Ueli, incidentally, for Cronulla, is sick. That's why he is missing out this afternoon. Final play, and Campbell puts the kick downfield from just outside his own 40, and it is taken by Will Kennedy, who brings the back towards the 30-metre line. Good Saturday afternoon crowd in sunshine at Shark Park as Cronulla look to bounce back from that loss to the Dragons and continue that what was a winning streak beforehand. They had the ball about 33 metres away from their own line. Quick out of dummy half is Brayley. He comes to the short side right and trying to catch the Titans napping there is Katoa. He gets away from a couple and then comes back on the inside to get away from the touchline. He's brought to ground about 3 inside Gold Coast territory. Brayley out of dummy half to McGuinness, then back on the inside for Aiden Fanua-Blake, straightening on his run and good post-contact metres from big Aden Fanua-Blake. He leads the NRL for post-contact metres and a few more there. They go to the left-hand side of the field. Trindle tries to fight a way through. He's brought to ground 18 away, and then he gets a whack over the top for his efforts from Big Tino coming across, and he didn't particularly like that because he was already on the deck there, Trindle, and Big Tino just whacked him across the top. They go to the left-hand side. They might have numbers here, Cronulla. Talakai, but it was the final play, and he's caught 5 away from the line. They threw caution to the wind, but they came up short. No score after 2.
Yeah, great start from the Sharks with the ball in hand. They managed to get all the way down deep into the Gold Coast territory, and it was interesting watching that little exchange between Braden Trindle and Tino Fasuamaleau. He's a exception to something that happened in the tackle.
Yeah, I think just the fact that he was on the deck and then Tino came from behind, didn't he, and whacked him as Phil Sammy has the ball about 19 away from his own goal line in centre field. They go to the left-hand side, one off the ruck for Big Mo Fodawaker to break the line almost, and the Sharks have to recover quickly to wrap him up 35 away from his own line. They come to the left, Verrills out of dummy half, and they're spinning it through the hands of forward. A long ball over the top to Sammy, who finds himself on the left wing, and he takes the tackle about a metre inside Cronulla's territory. 5 in from the western touchline. Final play for the Gold Coast, so Campbell will go to the skies again, down this left channel, and Kennedy will take it about 8 away from his own goal line. He'll be able to return it back into traffic, tries to get away from Tino and a couple of others, but he's down 16 away from his own line. No score after 3 minutes. Let's get down to the touchline with Kiana Takadang.
Yeah, good football from both sides there. I like to see Kieran Foran finding a long ball pretty early in the set there. It shows the conditions are dry and they're ready to play footy.
Yeah, it was looking expansive there from Kieran Foran, and Kiana, I know you were speaking about a bit of rain that came through late in your game for the Parramatta Eels against South Sydney. Hopefully we don't get too much rain this afternoon, and congratulations to the Para New South Wales Championship side for their big win over Souths. And Cronulla have the ball through Billy Burns right on halfway here at Shark Park. They go short to the right-hand side. Nicho Hynes goes himself, kicks over the top, chasing himself. There's 2 Sharks. Who'll be Nicho Hynes, who chases his own kick and scores the try. Nicho Hynes, great eyes up footy, short down the right-hand side. He chips over the top and chases through Nicho Hynes. The only player anywhere near him was Sorotti, so it was always going to be a Cronulla player. It was just a question of who. Nicho Hynes scores the try. They're on the board. They lead 4-0. 4 gone and a kick to come.
Yeah, really smart football there from the Sharks, and it starts with Blake Brayley recognising that there was an option down the short side. He jumps out, which we've seen him do countless times so far this season. He finds Nicho Hynes. AJ Brimson's out of position. He's actually come up to try and cover in the line, so he pops it over the top, and like you said, it was one of 2 people that were going to get the ball, and it was Nicho Hynes that comes up with it.
Nicho Hynes scores his 6th try of the season, and that's what the local fans want to see, Kiana.
Absolutely. When Nicho Hynes is playing his best footy, the whole team seems to go well. So hope to see more of that for the Sharks.
Really good start for the Cronulla side. Only 4.5 gone, and Hynes has an opportunity to convert his own try from about 11 in from the western touchline. 0467920222. The team can only be running right to left if you're sitting facing east. If you're on the eastern side facing west, northern or southern, they won't be running left to right, says John in Perth. As I said, running right to left on your radio dial. So as you're looking at the radio, think of that as the footy pitch, and they are running from right to left on your radio. So if you can think about that one, obviously if you're watching on TV, the cameras are usually in the western grandstand. So we will say at the moment that Gold Coast are running from right to left. Here's Nicho Hynes, 11 in from the western touchline, makes no mistakes and adds the extras. Cronulla leads 6 points to 0. Any chance of a game of footy breaking out in your political? Oh, that must have been the boys being dribblers. Thank you for that. Froggy and Shark Park, can someone ask the officials to turn the volume down, please? That's got nothing to do with us, Froggy. I'm sorry that you're doing that. Maybe just turn your earbuds up and you might be able to hear us better. Colin Tracy will end up in Perth, says Tommy Manley. Maybe Connor Tracy might end up there. There's a bit of speculation around Blake Brayley as well, actually. He's, from all reports, turned down an offer from Cronulla. He'll be a free agent after November. He's going to test himself, and there are suggestions that maybe Perth could be interested as well. We'll wait and see. Here's Aden Fanua-Blake. Takes it up to almost the 20-metre line, about 19 away from his own goal line after the try from Nicho Hynes. Cronulla Sharks with ball back in hand, and they have it through Sione Katoa. He has it about 17 away. He's back in centre field now, and they continue to their left-hand side. Spinning it through their hands over on the left-hand side, the Cronulla Sharks, and about 26 away from their own goal line as getting up and playing it is Toby Rudolph. Back on the inside, Brayley out of dummy half links up with Kennedy, and he's met there there by Big Tino and one other Gold Coast player. They're 30 away from their own line, coming through the middle through Cam McInnes, and he takes it to within 9 of the halfway line, with Jamin Jolliffe and Sam Verrills involved in bringing him to a stop. They come open side right. Nicho Hynes will kick from just outside 40 on the final play. It's straight down the Haydiddle, and it's taken by AJ Brimson on his own 10-metre line. He returns it up over the 20, and they'll start this set 26 away from their own goal line, but trailing 6-0.
There's a better defensive set there from the Titans. They were able to keep the Sharks in their own end, so Nicho Hynes goes for the clearing kick. And one thing you love about AJ Brimson when he catches those balls on the floor, he just goes straight back into the defensive line. He wants to get as many metres early as possible for his team.
Both Fermor is 6 away from halfway. One off the ruck, open side right. There's a strong run from Tino, and he'll take the tackle about 3 or 4 inside Cronulla territory. They haven't been down this end very often as yet, the Gold Coast Titans. Kieran Foran takes the tackle on the last, so he won't be I beg your pardon, he is kicking. It wasn't Kieran Foran who was tackled there, so he puts a high kick up in the air, and it's Sione Katoa who takes the catch 10 away from his own goal line, and he returns it about 19 away. He'll take the tackle 15 in from the western touchline. Here's Hynes out of dummy half. Short he goes right-hand side, close to this western touchline, and making about 10 metres there before getting up and playing the ball is Hiroti. They play the ball for Brayley. One off the ruck left-hand side for Kennedy. He's over the 40-metre line, 9 short of halfway. Brayley scoots one-handed out of dummy half. Then he crosses a crossfield left-hand side where he links up there on the left with Siosifa Talakai, and he's about 3 inside Gold Coast territory. They continue to the left-hand side. Teague Wilton is 36 away from Gold Coast's line. It's the final play for Cronulla. It ends up with Trindle, who puts the high kick up down towards that southeastern corner, and it's taken pretty comfortably over on that far wing by Jalen de Groot. And Gold Coast will have to come 97 or 98 metres again because they're trapped down their own end. Let's get back down to the touchline. Kiana Takarani.
Yeah, good footy by the Sharks. They're just kicking high to the corners, and they're challenging the back three of the Titans. The sun is in their eyes, so pretty hard under the high ball there for the Titans.
8 minutes gone. Gold Coast trailing 6 points to 0 against the Cronulla Sharks. Last time they were here, they got beat 36-6, and last time these two teams played, Cronulla smashed them 44-0. What can the Gold Coast come up with here? If they can get off the bottom of the ladder, they have the ball about 16 short of halfway, but it's the final play through Paxton. So Campbell is kicking from just outside his own 30-metre line. Kennedy taking it on the full on his own 20, and he can return it back and then get the pass away to Katoa. So they'll start this set inside Gold Coast territory by about a metre. Good start here for Cronulla. They're in decent field position, and Hynes finds himself at dummy half. He goes one off the ruck left-hand side for Will Kennedy, and Kennedy's in centre field about 8 metres inside Gold Coast territory. Brayley out of dummy half, left-hand side McInnes. Trindle, quick hands, but it's dropped absolutely cold by Mulatalo. He had a look at the man on his outside. He didn't know whether to catch and pass or whether to take on the defensive line. In the end, it was the indecision that cost him. He dropped the ball, and Gold Coast get the scrum 12 inside their own half, trailing 6 points to 0 after 9.
Yeah, well, you nailed it, Glenn. It's that option that he was thinking about. Do I run the ball because there's a bit of space in front of me? Do I try and find an early pass? And he takes his eyes off it for a moment, comes up with the error. It was a perfect start for the Sharks. They got into Titans territory, so they were looking at a really good attacking set. Instead, they come up with the error, and this will put the Titans on with a ball near halfway.
Yeah, they win the scrum, and they go to the left through Fermor, and it could be a good night in the Shire tonight if the Sharks win. A shout out to Caringbah High School class of 2000, their 25th reunion. Go the Sharks, Jay from Dapto Caringbah, Dapto/Caringbah when he was in the class of 2000. And you're making me feel old because I was in that class of 2000 as well, not a Caringbah, but it was a long time ago. Fermor with 6 again for Gold Coast. They have it 33 away from Cronulla's line. Open side right they come. Campbell tries to skip away from a couple, and he takes the tackle 33 short of Gold Coast line centre field. Verrill scoots out of dummy half, and he has Fodawaker close to his right shoulder, so he gives him the ball. Fodawaker advances it to about 22 away. They come back left now through Verrills and Foran. Foran's ball back on the inside for Fasuamala-Awi, and he's brought to ground 10 away. Quick play the ball. Verrills left-hand side. They've got numbers if they can use them. Paxton tries to lean over, but he can't quite reach out, so he goes to ground centimetres away. 10 in from the western touchline. Final play. Verrills goes right. Foreign will kick from the left to the right. Crossfield it goes, getting underneath it and saving the day. Ronaldo Mulatalo for Cronulla. Gold Coast looking probably the best they have so far this game as Cronulla come away from their own end through Adam Fanua-Blake. They lead 6 points to nil after 10 and a half.
Yeah, well, great footy both sides there. The Titans, as you said, their best attacking set. Paxton almost gets an opportunity. He rolls the
Oh, they've lost the ball here. It's Ronaldo Mulatalo playing the ball and Brayley not able to collect out a dummy half. A messy one again. Sorry, Dino, to interrupt, but this is a good opportunity here for the Gold Coast. They'll get a scrum feed 22 metres away from their own goal line, and they feel as though that Blake Brayley might just not have picked this one up.
Yeah, and it was a low pass and a little bit of a hand grenade there from Mulatalo, although he got the arm free, so there was an option to throw that offload, but it's very, very low on the half volley for Blake Brayley to try and take.
Chriso from Goolwa in South Australia says, go you Sharkies, we need to find the spark of magic again before the finals. Up. Thanks, Chris. Cronulla are defending at the moment. The Gold Coast have won the scrum. They go to the right-hand side and they will start this set about 18 away from the line. Getting up and playing it is Brimson. They come back left-hand side now, and Chris Randall is about 8 away from the line in centre field. Slow to get up and play the ball. Verrills is waiting at dummy half. Left for Fasuamala-Awi, then Foreign. Gets it away to Brimson. Long ball over the top left-hand side. Phil Sami. They come across in cover beautifully and hold him up. That's really good cover defending there from Cronulla because Phil Sami had acres of space as the ball came out to him on the left-hand side, and they scrambled well there, including Katoa and Hynes, to stop him and force the held up. So they go back to the 10-metre line, come back to the right now on the next play. Foreign back on the inside for Fasuamala-Awi, and he takes the tackle 7 away from Cronulla's line, 23 in from the western touchline. Verrills himself out at dummy half, then right for Foreign, and gets it away to Campbell, and then there's a short ball. They're only 3 away from the line here, the Gold Coast. Cronulla having to do a lot of goal line defending here. They come back open side left. Campbell will put a kick towards the post. Hynes will have to share. He does well there, Nicho Hynes. He shepherds it over the dead ball line, and they get a 20-metre restart and a 7-tackle set. Cronulla, which he'll take this one quickly, Dino.
Yeah, disappointing end of the set there for the Titans because they were asking plenty of questions of the Sharks defence, who kept turning up. It was a good defensive effort from the Sharks, and now this penalty as the Sharks come out of their own end is going to make things worse for the Titans.
That's really disappointing for Des Hasler and his men. That is a piggyback. They had all of the momentum here, the Gold Coast, and they've given a penalty for slowing the ball down. The first tackle after the 20-metre restart, and Cronulla will kick for touch on their own 30, leading 6-0 after 13. Touchline, Kiana Takarangi.
Yeah, really good work there by the Sharks. I love to see Nicho Hynes running the ball back after it went dead and taking the quick tap and getting a reward for his team.
A fine touch, about 5 short of halfway over on that eastern side, and taking the tap and getting it over halfway is Talakai. He'll take the tackle 5 inside Gold Coast territory, and coming back open side right, Brayley for McInnes, and then on it goes to Toby Rudolph. Rudolph is about 13 inside Gold Coast territory, right in the centre of field. It's a pretty ugly play the ball, but the referee Peter Goff is happy to go along with it, and Cronulla on this play are now 27 away as Adam Fanua-Blake gets up and plays it. Hynes is hit late as he gets the pass away, or simultaneously, and he can only pass it to Tony Francis, who's away, and then in support he's got Jalen de Groot. Jalen de Groot will race away and score for the Gold Coast Titans after Nicho Hynes threw a pass on the Gold Coast Titans 20-metre line. He was hit at the same time. The ball was intercepted by Francis, who raced away and then saw Jalen de Groot score under the posts. 6 points to 4. Cronulla lead the Gold Coast with a kick to come for the Titans, and 14 gone in the first half.
Yeah, a bit of a forced effort there from Nicho Hynes. He was playing the sweep line and tried to get the quick hands because he felt the presence of the wedge in defence, or the up and in defence from the Titans. So he throws a quick pass. As you said, it goes to Francis, who's right up in the line. He didn't need to pull the trigger there, unfortunately, Nicho Hynes. And Francis, he didn't have enough pace to get away from Kennedy, so he finds a much quicker man there in de Groot, who sails away and gets it right on the post. Some solid contact, as you said, from Campbell on Hynes after he passes it.
That's a really good result for the Gold Coast because they had so much pressure at that end, and they gave away that penalty, forced the error at the other end, and have scored. Kiana, the Titans are right back in it.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a massive moment, a really good shot there on Nicho Hynes. He was down on the floor for a few seconds after that one, but yeah, good to see the Titans get on the board.
Thanks for this text around the grounds. Moree Giants under 10s won their 4th straight grand final today against Inverell Hawks, remaining undefeated for the last 4 years. Good on you to the Moree Giants under 10s, and thanks for that text messages. Campbell from right in front adds the extras, 6 points all, with the Gold Coast Titans up up against the Cronulla Sharks here at Shark Park. Around the grounds in the NRL W, it's underway between Brisbane and Parramatta. No score after earlier the Sharks here beat the Titans 12-8. In Jersey Flegg, second half, Newcastle are leading the Dragons 18-4. Melbourne 40 leading the Roosters 6, and the Tigers 36 leading South Sydney 6. Second half New South Wales Cup, Wests are leading South 32-18, and Parramatta are leading Newtown 4-0 early in the first half. It's also fairly early in the first half of the Raiders game against Canterbury, where Canberra is leading 6 points to 0. Queensland Women's Rugby League, this is my favourite battle of the year. It's the battle of the chip between the Seagulls, Tweed and Wynnum. Tweed are leading Wynnum 34 points to 12 as the Seagulls battle over the chips. That would be great if it was a trophy, wouldn't it? If they had a chip trophy, that'd be sensational, with a bit of newspaper wrapping around it. This is a deep kickoff as the Gold Coast Titans return it. Jamin Jolliffe, almost a forward pass right on the dead ball line there. But I don't think any of the officials were that far back to see it, because it was 110 metres away from the other goal line. So the Gold Coast Titans are coming away from that, and there's an offload from Tino, which means that Verrills can come to the left-hand side, link up with Fermor, and Fermor has it about 23 metres away from his own goal line and 9 in from the western touchline. Here's Phil Sami. So just going back to obviously the fact that Jojo Fafita is out, that has meant that Phil Sami has moved over onto the left wing with Beau Fermor at left centre, and Tony Francis, who was originally probably going to play on the left wing, has moved over to the right centre. So that's why, they're through again here. AJ Brimson gets straight through a gap, and he's got Beau Fermor on support on his left-hand side. Cronulla's middle defence has been cut straight open. There was little doing there for the Gold Coast, but great piece of play by AJ Brimson to go straight through a hole and set up Beau Fermor in the left corner. All of a sudden, the Gold Coast lead 10 points to 6, and the Sharks are shell-shocked. There's a kick to come, and we've only had 16 and a half.
Yeah, shell-shocked, and the Sharks on the field, and also the fans around the stadium. It's a beautiful play. Kieran Foran, he's really trying to get his hands on the ball a lot in this game, looking for his outside man. He plays a ball back on the inside there to AJ Brimson. We know he's got so much pace, but those loose defenders around mark a little short side play, which is great to see from Foran, the old maestro. And once he's in the backfield there, Brimson, he's either going to take on Will Kennedy by himself, look for the support, which happened to be Beau Fermor. He doesn't take his time with the pass, and away goes Beau.
Oh, you can't say anything negative about experience, can you? What a pass that is from Kieran Foran. Touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, unreal there from Kieran Foran. It was Cam McInnes who got left on the ground trying to cover from marker, but Verrills was too quick. Great try there by the Titans.
I'll tell you what a way to bring up your 27th birthday as well for Beau Fermor. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, and a try to boot. He scored last week against South Sydney, another one this week. He's in absolute fine form, Beau Fermor, playing at left centre this afternoon. So Campbell from about 8 in, it's a shocker. From 8 in from the western touchline, it's gone right across the face. Never looked like curling back around. So it remains 10 points to 6. The Gold Coast Titans leading the Cronulla Sharks. G'day, gents. Hope Andy is going well in regards to diving. I absolutely hate it. And I think the way to stop it is that when anyone dives deliberately, we bring back public floggings and the art of throwing rotten fruit at them. Here, Jason. Thank you for your text message. And here as well when it comes to Hope Andy is going well, because we are all thinking of him, his family here at ABC Sport, and I'm sure he's enjoying time with his family as well as he continues to recover from his pretty tough week. And our thoughts are very much with you, Andrew. I'm hoping that you're enjoying the footy, and it's sunshine everywhere here at Shark Park. Cronulla getting back underway after, I don't know what has hit them in the last sort of 10 minutes or so. Jamin Jolliffe off the restart again. He's brought to ground 10 away from his own goal line, but he's lost the ball. That's a pretty disappointing start to that set for the Gold Coast Titans. Jamin Jolliffe has just run into the Cronulla traffic, and the Sharks have forced the ball free. They get a scrum 10 away from, they've ruled the forward pass. Yeah, they've ruled the forward pass. They missed out in the goal, and they were waiting for that one, weren't they? So Cronulla get a scrum 10 away from the line, Dino.
Yeah, he's cutting it close, isn't he, to Gruden? It was fairly obvious once you've seen the replay. So the touchy, I'm assuming, got back almost in line with it to be able to make that call, and the Sharks merely on the attack after conceding points.
I wonder if the referee's coaches in the box next to us saw the previous one as well and just said, boys, make sure you're back there. As Nicho Hynes has the ball 7 metres away from the Gold Coast line. Brayley out of dummy half. Left-hand side, McInnes. Back on the inside inside for Rudolph. Toby Rudolph is 3 away from the line. He's put on his back right underneath the sticks at the southern end of Shark Park. Gets up and plays it for Brayley. Right-hand side, Trindle. Back on the inside. It's a great ball for Billy Burns, who's only about a metre away from the line. And Billy Burns is stopped in his tracks just short. Brayley, left-hand side. He goes for Adam Fanua-Blake close to the line and back towards the ruck. Adam Fanua-Blake can't find a way through. He'll get up and play the ball for Brayley. Left-hand side, he goes for McInnes. Then Trindle. Short ball there for Teague Wilton. And Teague Wilton is stopped 8 metres away from the line. It's a final play for the Sharks. They trail 10-6. We've had 19. Trindle wraps around underneath the ruck and then gets it away to Talakai. But it's good scrambling defence close to the line again by the Gold Coast Titans to stop C for about a metre away. And the Titans will start this set just in front of their own goal line, leading 10 points to 6.
Yeah, spot on again, Glenn. It was really good defence on the short side from the Titans. They recognised that Trindle had shot down for that late changeover from the open switches to try and get an opportunity down a short side, and they rallied. They got numbers in front of those players and took Sifa Talakai front on.
Francis lost the ball backwards and it was picked up so the Gold Coast can continue this play, and then they get another offload away here. So Cronulla just not wrapping the ball up at this stage. The Gold Coast going from right to left. It ends up with Beau Fermor only about 8 away from the western touchline. They want him to get off. Kieran Foran is protesting at dummy half there, but the referee said it was okay. So Foran, one off the ruck, right-hand side for Sammy, and then Sammy's brought to ground 10 short of halfway. They continue right on the next play, and it's Tino Fasuamala with another offload. Gets it away to Fodawaker. It was touched by a Cronulla player, so it's 6 again for the Gold Coast Titans. Fodawaker skips away from a couple as well. He straightens on his run. A flick pass from the front row to Verrills, then gets it away to Foran, and Foran is finally wrapped up and brought to ground. Geez, they've got to defend better here, Cronulla. He's 2 inside the Sharks' territory, and another set of 6 here for the Gold Coast Titans. They've lost the ball here. The Titans, for the next play, they have all of that momentum, and Joshua Paxton has put the ball down 8 inside Cronulla's territory, and the Titans have left the Sharks off the hook. They're thinking about challenging it. Dino, what do you think?
Tino just waved them away. I think it was like a half-hearted question there from Paxton. He said that when he was trying to get up, the ball was ripped out, but his skipper just ignored him, unfortunately.
Nicho Hynes' hand is on the ball, but I don't think there was enough in it to constitute a strip as opposed to a loose carry. Touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, the Titans aren't afraid to throw the ball around. That's the 5th offload that they've had in the game so far. Oops.
Yeah, they had
too slow.
There's a scrum penalty. They hadn't packed the scrum quick enough, the Sharks, and so after losing the ball, the Gold Coast Titans get a penalty 9 metres inside Sharks territory. They take the tap, and Tino Fasuamala-Awi is on his way. He gets up and goes again, but not very far. And now there's a one-on-one strip. Teague Wilton gets the ball off Tino Fasuamala-Awi and wins it back for the Sharks. There was a knock-on from that ball goes to nobody, but Will Kennedy picks it up. So there was a knock-on from the Gold Coast. They ended up with a penalty, and then straight away Cronulla get it back through a strip. So maybe after all of that, it was ultimately justice prevailing, and Cronulla have the ball about 15 short of halfway. On the field is Jesse Colquhoun, and they have the ball now coming up. Good, strong run through the middle of the park. Really great post-contact metres, almost on the knees there, Toby Rudolph, as he took 3 Gold Coast players with him. And now Will Kennedy on the final play is 33 metres away from Gold Coast line. This could be anything this afternoon. It's really open stuff. Trindle puts the high kick up in the air. Jalen de Groot has to come off his goal line. It's picked up. He can't handle it. And Colquhoun will score the try. He's only been on the field for about a minute. It's his second touch. The ball bounced in front of Jalen de Groot. We heard Kiana talk about the sun in their eyes. Well, I reckon Jalen de Groot was looking straight into it. It bounced straight into the arms of Jesse Colquhoun, who scores the try next to the upright and levels it at 10-all. Kick to come. 17 and a half to go first half.
Yeah, what a hectic period of football that was. It was a calamity at the other end, and a number of errors, and Sharks come up with it, as you said, but they immediately jump on the front foot. They roll through the middle of the ruck. Some really strong carries, one by Toby Rudolph, and then Will Kennedy has a darting run straight in behind the ruck. He gets tackled by Fasuamala-Awi. He's left on the ground. So they've got really a lot of space towards the line as they go for the kick on last play. He puts it up really high, does Trindle on the chase. Renato Mulatalo was the man that was putting pressure on. I think he manages to get a hand and knocks it across field. It goes backwards, and Colquhoun, as you said, just on the field, picks up the scraps and scores the points.
What a great story. Jesse Colquhoun back from his ACL earlier this season. His first NRL try in game number 24. I'll wait for this kick, Kiana, because Nicho Hynes is just about ready to move in and strike this one, and then we'll get down to the touchline. He's pretty much in line with that left-hand upright. So Nicho Hynes, you think, wouldn't have too many problems with this, and he makes no mistake. It is 12 points to 10. We've got 16 and a half to go first half touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, the Sharks fans are happy again. They're making some noise after a quiet little period there. Good try there by the Sharks.
Gaz in Liverpool points out that there are better ways to get time off, Andrew, but speedy recovery. The Sharks going to be carved up for fin soup. I suppose that'd be dolphins. Maybe.
No, shark fins.
Yeah, shark fins, right. Of course. Yeah, I was thinking of the fins. Thank you for that text message, Gaz in Liverpool. James in Bendigo, did the Sharks think the Titans would just roll over? Love to Andrew as well. Everyone across Australia is missing him here. Thank you, James. We're back underway. Will Kennedy takes a good return from the kickoff. No need to use your front rowers when you can return the ball like that by the fullback. He plays the ball. They come open side, one off the ruck left, and Sione Katoa has the ball 27 away from the goal line in centre field. Brayley's at dummy half now, picks it up one-handed again, goes himself, scooting towards the 40-metre line, but he can't quite make it, so he's about 13 short of halfway. Plays it for Hynes. Left-hand side, they go for Colquhoun, the try scorer, and he's 7 away from the halfway line. Both teams making plenty of yards and getting their defensive oppositions on the back foot. Teague Wilton takes the tackle, 9 metres inside Titans territory. Final play. They'll come back open side to the centre of the field where Trindle puts the high kick up in the air. Once again, AJ Brimson dealing with the sun, dealing with it well, under pressure from Mulatalo, and takes a tackle 9 away from the goal line with the Sharks leading 12-10, 15 and a half to go first half.
Great set after points there from the Sharks, and again the attacking kick from Trindle means that Mulatalo can get down, put pressure on Brimson, who, as you said, did a good job to take the ball under pressure, but now it's hard going for the Titans coming out of their own end.
Yeah, Jalen de Groot will get up and play it 12 away from his own goal line, and they go short to the right-hand side, and that's a good hit coming out of the line. Ronaldo Mulatalo to absolutely whack Randall there. They come open side left now through Tino, and Tino Fasuamala-Awi has the ball 29 away from his own line centre field. Final play, so once again, Campbell will have to kick on his own 30-metre line. It is a deep one. Kennedy has to go back and claim it about 8 away from his own goal line, but he does so on the full, so he can return it back over the 20. Skips away from one, but he can't get past both Thurmore, so he takes a tackle 27 away from his own line. Hynes at dummy half comes left, and then Katoa tries to skip away from a couple. He's brought to ground 34 away from his own goal line, with the Sharks leading 12-10. We've got 14 and a half to go in the first half, and Cronulla has possession about 5 metres short of the halfway line. 22 in from the western touchline. Getting up and playing it is Hiroti. They go back towards the centre and the left-hand side of the ruck, and that's another good run there through the centre of the park by Adnan Fanua-Blake, who get up and play it 10 away, 10 inside Gold Coast territory. They come open side right through Hynes, quickly through the hands. Hiroti, he has supporting Katoa, but he goes back towards the middle. He won't need to go to the edge, because in the middle he had Nicho Hynes backing up on his left shoulder, and Nicho Hynes will score his second of the afternoon. Cronulla leads 16 points to 10 with 14 to go. They had plenty of numbers down this right-hand side, but it was good vision there from Hiroti to put the ball back on the inside and send Hynes away.
Yeah, beautiful play again from the Sharks, and Kiana mentioned it earlier that the dry weather football really suits the Sharks style of play. They're an expansive team. They've got great mobility, so they get it out to their right side, and Nicho Hynes with the cutout pass to find Hiroti, puts him in space, and he did a really good job to sum it up. He throws a dummy to the outside, he slices through, and then once he's in the backfield, he's got support on the right, he's got support on the left, and he picks up his halfback there in Nicho Hynes.
Yeah, I thought Phil Sami was going to strike. He had 2-on-1 there down on his left wing in defence, but Hiroti went back on the inside, and the Sharks fans absolutely buzzing, Kiana.
Down here, the Sharks fans, it was really nice play there by Marwena, who's come in for Jesse Ramian, but Nicho Hynes crossing for his second try and getting a nice little Indigenous dance down there as a celebration on Indigenous ground.
Yeah, how good from Nicho. And he has the opportunity to convert his own try once again from almost the same position that he scored the first of the afternoon. They lead 16 points to 10, the Sharks. It's been a real seesawing battle here in the Shire this afternoon. Entertaining rugby league. It's been open. It's been free-flowing. It's been quick. Nicho Hynes moves in and strikes this one. line. He adds the extras, 18 points to 10. For those defensive purists, it might not be the greatest game, but those who like free-flowing attacking footy, it certainly is. This text message from the Canberra Raider. Firstly, best wishes to Andrew. Second, does the blood bin still exist? As far as I'm aware, bloodborne diseases still exist. I just saw a trainer wipe the blood from an injured player with a towel, and they kept playing and started bleeding again soon after. Not a good look for the well-being on the players on the field, have we call the Canberra Raider. Well, certainly if they get caught, they have to go off, but I suppose if the trainer's got a towel in his hand and he can quickly wipe it off and the officials don't see it, then there's not much the officials can do about it.
The officials have to pick it up in order to act on it, but the trainers will do their best to get it. They don't want to see the blood continue either. They're aware of the rules, so they'll do their best to stop the bleeding.
And there's also pressure to keep that player on the field as well, so it's a tough situation. Hazelton's on the field for Cronulla. He takes the first hit up in the first set after points, and then from the next play they go left for Mulatalo. Back on the inside now for Aden Fanua-Blake, and he takes it up towards the 30-metre line. Centre field, he tries to get up and get a quick play of the ball, and he wins the penalty. I reckon Aden Fanua-Blake played for that pretty well there. He got up, tried to go quickly, and then went back down again. And he wins the penalty there on his own 30-metre line. The Gold Coast Titans give a penalty away, the second or third play after points. And it was Josh Paxton who was the man that pushed him back to ground. They find touch 5 metres short of the halfway line.
Yeah, well, the Titans don't want to get in the quicksand here and, invite the Sharks down to their own territory and give them those opportunities, because we've already seen how much damage they can do.
Tom Hazelton plays the ball 5 inside Titans territory. Now Colquhoun, who has a try this afternoon. He's first in the NRL. 11 inside Gold Coast territory. Brayley comes open side right for Hynes, and then Aden Fanua-Blake straightens towards the 30-metre line. 3 Gold Coast Titans have to bring him down, including Verrills and also Fasuamala-Awi. Plays it for Brayley. Left-hand side he goes for Colquhoun, who's been really involved since coming on. 17 away from the line. They're attacking again here, the Sharks. Brayley left, Trindle, short ball, Wilton. The Titans thought it might have been forward. The officials didn't agree. Wilton's only 4 away from the line. 5 in from the eastern touchline. So Brayley comes open side for Trindle, short ball, Colquhoun looking for a second. But it was the final play, and he takes the tackle 3 away from the line. He's staying down here, Jesse Colquhoun, and there might be a little bit of concern. No, he's back on his feet now, but the referee is just making sure that they clean up the ruck, and Regan Campbell-Gillard, who is on the field for the Titans, will play the ball about 5 away from their own goal line. Bo Fermor takes the first hit up for his side, 9 away, centre field. Gold Coast trailing 18 points to 10. There's just over 10 and a half to go in the first half at Shark Park with Kiana Takarangi, Dean Hallertau. I'm Glenn Lauder. Good to have your company with the Gold Coast Titans getting a piggyback penalty now. Phil Sami was held on for too long, about 13 away from his own line, and that was Colquhoun, who I gave a rap, but Gold Coast Titans will get a penalty just in front of their own line, and this is a bit of a reliever for them, Dino.
Yeah, very much so. And just watching the Titans have made another change. Jacob Alex on the field, so looks like he's gone to left centre, and that, as we spoke about earlier, pushes Bo Fermor in.
Yeah, we were discussing it off air earlier, weren't we, Dino? The fact that the Titans have taken 2 outside backs onto their bench with them in Keanu Kinney and Jacob Alec, that obviously allows Bo Fermor to be an extra middle player, or certainly an edge back rower, given the changes that they've gone through over the last 24 hours or so. Of course, no Cleese Haas this afternoon. He's missing through personal reasons. We wish him all the best. 4 metres inside Cronulla's territory is Jamie Jolliffe, and he finally gets up and plays the ball. Foran comes to the left-hand side, dummying and trying to find a way through his Paxton, but he's unable to, so he plays the ball for Verrills. Left-hand side he goes for Foran towards the 20-metre line, and Foran is brought to ground on the final play. 15 in from the western touchline, 21 away from Cronulla's line. Campbell will kick across field again. Coming through are plenty of Titans players, including over there on that far side Chris Randall, but it's a good take by Mulitalo, and he can return it up towards the 20-metre line. Now he plays the ball, and quickly out of dummy half goes Will Kennedy. Takes the tackle 30 away from his line. He plays it for Brayley, and then one off the ruck right-hand side comes a strong running Aden Fanua-Blake, and he has the ball about 13 away from the halfway line in centre field. They continue to the right-hand side now, and the Cronulla Sharks looking to cross cross over the halfway line. They're not able to on this occasion. So Haroti will play the ball 3 short of halfway. Coming back left again through the hands of Fanua Blake, ends up with Hazelton. The fans enjoy that run from Tom Hazelton. Final play, Cronulla are 8 inside Gold Coast territory and they lead by 8. Trindle goes to the skies. Waiting for it is AJ Brimson and Mulatalo. He knocks it back, Mulatalo. Ends up with Kennedy, gets it away to Trindle, scores. Ronaldo Mulatalo, sensational. He knew the sun was in AJ Brimson's eyes, so he batted it back, waiting for it on the left-hand side. Plenty of support for the Cronulla Sharks. Trindle was there, Kennedy as well, and the Gold Coast Titans find themselves further behind as the Cronulla Sharks lead 22 points to 10 with a kick to come and 8 minutes to go in the first half.
It's a great formula for the Sharks. Once they get that roll on, they look to that left edge where Braden Trindle each time he's popping it up really high into the air, puts a midfield bomb up, and it makes it really challenging for AJ Brimson to get a look through the sun, but also it enables Mulatalo to get down with plenty of time. He leaps up in the air, gets a hand to it, knocks it back, but the important thing is that the chases that came through for the Sharks, and one of them being Will Kennedy, who scoops the ball up, and then the kicker, Braden Trindle, doing a good job to follow up and get the 4 points.
His second try in as many games against the Gold Coast Titans, 2 in his last 2, and Cronulla absolutely loving life after some scary moments, Kiana.
Yeah, the sun is playing, tricks on the Titans players, make it really hard for them under the high ball, but I want to give a rap to the Sharks back 5. They are just rolling down the field and putting the Sharks in a really good position to score points.
Thank you for a few more text messages from Alana as well as Tom and Brooke in Gosford. Wishing Andrew the best. Thank you. Tom and Brooke are actually working an Arvo shift up on the Central Coast, up Cronulla, and this will end up a cricket score. Titans have done nothing for 30 years. Get rid of them and bring back Newtown, Balmain and West. It's anyone, says Peter. They haven't been around for 30 years, but I get your point. Their various iterations as Nicho Hynes, 2 in from the touchline, hits the post. He can't add the extras, so Nicho Hynes' perfect afternoon has been soured there somewhat. He's got 3 from 4 now, plus 2 tries, and Cronulla Sharks in control, 22 points to 10 with 6.5 to go. Around the grounds in the first half, NRLW, first half Brisbane leading Parramatta 4-0 in Jersey Flegg. Knights have beaten the Dragons 18-8. Second half Melbourne leading the Roosters 46-12, and full-time the Tigers have beaten Souths 42-6. Full-time in New South Wales Cup, West have beaten Souths 42-24. Parramatta have beaten lead Newtown 16-0, and Canberra lead the Bulldogs 6-4. And in the AFL full-time, GWS have beaten Gold Coast Nelly. Good to hear, 111-76. Fourth quarter, Carlton 106 lead Port Adelaide 44. Back here at Shark Park, Cronulla lead 22 points to 10, and they have the ball out of dummy half. Brayley linking up with Hazelton, who takes it over the 40-metre line. Good run again by Tom Hazelton. They love him here at Shark Park, don't they? He's like, might have been from Goulburn, but he's a Cronulla boy now. Gav Miller's finding down there at Goulburn as they go to the left-hand side, and Sifa Talakai has it 10 inside Gold Coast territory. Here's Teague Wilt, another strong run. Gold Coast defence really on the back foot, and Cronulla looking to exploit that. Final play, less than 6 to go first half. Trindle has it on the Gold Coast 30-metre line, so he kicks it down towards that southeastern corner. They're really peppering Jalen de Groot. He takes the catch, but he's bundled into touch. So Cronulla almost let Jalen de Groot take that catch because they knew he was so close to the touchline. They bundled him straight over and get the ball back anyway with a play the ball 10 away from Gold Coast line.
Yeah, I'm going to sound like a broken record. It's the same formula once again. Braden Trindle goes for that high kick to their left, which enables Mulatalo to get down. They've generated a lot of momentum through that set, which Keanu identified earlier. Mulatalo, he does a good job there because he pulls up his run just short of the catcher and de Groot, then forces him over the touchline.
So here they come again, the Sharks. Billy Burns, 9 away from the goal line, 20 in from the western touchline. He'll play the ball for Brayley, coming out of dummy half, going left to Hynes, back on the inside, straightening. Oh, good bounce there, Cole Hurd. He ran straight into the defender. The big don't argue, and he's brought to ground a metre away from the line. They get 6 again because they're slow to get off. They might not need it. Adam Fanua Blake, close to the line, taking a metre away, under the sticks. They go left through Brayley and Hynes, short to Hazelton. Tom Hazelton's a metre away, almost gets through, but the goal line defence brings him down. Brayley will continue to the left. No, he comes back right now for Hynes. Good change of direction from Brayley. Trindle will grub her through. Billy Burns is chasing, and Billy Burns loses it over the line. I reckon Moeen Hiroti knocked it out of his hands. The referee's going upstairs. It'll be no try. Billy Burns was about to score, and his teammate has knocked it out of his hands and bombed the try.
Oh, I reckon you've got it right there, Glenn. Hiroti was going through. I thought he probably felt felt that he was low to the ground.
Kick chase has been confirmed as onside. Billy Burns knocks the ball on in the in-goal. We have a decision.
Marwin Hiroti gets in the way of Phil Sammy, but he's also going for the ball.
I think he was trying to shepherd Phil Sammy somewhat and buy a bit of space or time for Billy Burns, but Billy was quite upright in trying to catch that ball and knocks it on.
So the Gold Coast get away with it. 20-metre restart. Billy Burns has missed out on his third of the season, and the Gold Coast have the ball just over their 30-metre line through Phil Sammy, and that's pretty good post contact as well from Phil Sammy. By the way, I spoke earlier about Adam Fanua-Blake with leading the NRL in post contact metres. Phil Sammy is second, so that's a pretty good effort from an outside back as the Gold Coast have the ball on halfway. They go open side right, spinning it through their hands, and AJ Brimson finally gets it away over on that far side to Jacob Alec, and he takes the tackle 39 metres away from the line. They come back open side left, and Regan Campbell-Gillard gets the ball away, and the Gold Coast Titans, another offload there. They're keeping it alive here. Here's for it. Back on the inside, AJ Brimson, 20 metres away from the line and 20 in from the western touchline. Verrills, his dummy half, comes left for forward. Short ball, Fermor, numbers if they can use it. Phil Sammy, he's wrapped up by the sliding defence. So he'll get up and play the ball for Verrills again to come back open side right. Foran will kick it crossfield again. There's plenty of Sharks players. That's a great take there out by Blake Brayley with his fingers pointing to the skies. In fact, it was Teague Wilton, and he takes the catch 10 away from the goal line as Ronaldo Molizalo returns it over the 10-metre line. There's 3 to go in this first half, and Cronulla lead 22-10.
Yeah, it's a great take by Wilton. Gets up in the air like AFL style, gets the fingers to the sky, as you said. But great defence again from the Sharks on some of the set plays from the Titans. They're really turning up in numbers, and there's some last-ditch efforts to repel them. Let me get that out.
So Hiroti has the ball 30 away from his line. Brayley scoots out of dummy half, makes 10 metres before Verrills gets down below Annie's legs. It's the final play for Cronulla. They will kick from just outside 40 through Tyndall. It almost looks like it's hanging up in the breeze, and so this time Jalen de Groot will be able to take it a little more comfortably, and he takes the tackle 30 metres away from his own line and 15 in from the eastern touchline. Now here's Tony Francis for the Gold Coast. He has the ball 35 away from his line. They trail 22 points to 10. The Titans, they did lead 10 points to 6 at one stage, but the Gold Coast Titans have seen Cronulla come back into this one, and the Titans are playing from behind, 8 metres short of halfway. Verrills left-hand side for Foran, gets the ball away to Brimson, and Brimson takes the tackle. A metre inside Cronulla's territory, 12 in from the western touchline. So Alec finds himself at dummy half. They shift it through their hands. It ends up with Campbell, and then on it goes there to Chris Randall, and Chris Randall is 33 away from the line, 20 in from the eastern touchline. They go short on the last. Campbell will go to the line, throws a pass towards Jalen de Groot, who kicks before the touchline, back on the inside, but Tom Hazelton is there to collect for the Cronulla Sharks and takes the tackle 7 away from his own goal line as Cronulla come away from their own end once again through Nicho Hynes. 1:40 to go first half. Cronulla 22-10. Let's get down to the touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, boys, just an update on the crowd today. There is 10,112 people out here. Not bad for a Saturday afternoon.
An early crowd as well. Don't usually get them till the second half. Thank you very much for that, Kiana. Good to see that they're counting the tickets early as they come to the right-hand side here. The Cronulla Sharks in front of that 10,000 crowd. Sione Katoa will take the tackle of Kieran Ford. Scooting again is Brayley. Right-hand side, he goes short for Hynes. They've got numbers. Hiroti down the right-hand side. He'll grab it back towards the inside. Oh, it is a perfect bounce for Will Kennedy. Kennedy picks it up 25 out, races away and score. Owen Hiroti has played a beautiful hand there, rubbering back on the inside, off the inside of his boot, and it bounces straight into Kennedy's breadbasket. Outstanding footy from Cronulla. 26-10 they leave for the kick to come, and only 45 seconds left in the first half.
We had a perfect view of that little grubber along the ground from Hiroti, as you said, but down the short side, once again, the Sharks, Blake Brayley identifies a quick play the ball. They can strip them for numbers if he can get into the A defender, which is what he does. He's passed it on the outside there to Nicho Hynes. He throws a short one onto Billy Burns, who does a really good job to catch and pass in the same motion. Finds Hiroti, who puts it on the toe back infield for Will Kennedy, who's been really good this game. Again, Will Kennedy's got through a mountain of work. He's rewarded with a try and some really good support through the centre of the ruck.
He breaks a 3-game drought after scoring his 50th of his career against the Roosters, and he's back on the score sheet this afternoon. Kiana, the Sharks will go into their sheds much happier.
Yes, they will. The right edge of the Sharks are on fire. So good to see Will Kennedy cross the line there. Another Indigenous player in Indigenous round with an Indigenous dance to celebrate.
Yeah, and of course his dad, Bubba, playing back in the day for Balmain and the West Tigers as well, and absolute legend out west as well is Bubba. So congratulations to Will. Nicho Hynes with an opportunity to end up this first half with currently 3 from 4. He'll be looking to make it 4 from 5. He's about 21 in from the western touchline. Taking all the time he needs. There'll be no restart, of course. Hynes moves in and strikes this one, and he makes no mistake. So the Cronulla Sharks with a commanding halftime lead over the Gold Coast Titans. 28 points to 10 they lead, and you'd have to say certainly the last 20 minutes of this first half, Dino, it's been all Cronulla.
Yeah, it has, and look, it started fairly even. There was a good intensity about the Titans. They came to play. Even though the Sharks got off to a quick lead to start things off, the Titans certainly came back at them, and they offloaded the ball on this. It was like 15 offloads or something the Titans came up with. So that's a pretty significant number. They just weren't able to convert that into more points on the scoreboard once they did get down and start attacking the Sharks line. And on the other hand, the Sharks, when they are attacking the ball on their edges, they look very, very energetic. They pass the ball well. They execute really well. And Kiana just mentioned their right side has been threatening all afternoon. Down the left side, it's the high kicks with Mulatalo chasing through that poses the threat. So they've got their formula down pat today. They're executing really well. And there was a little patch there through the first half that they looked a bit flat, but they definitely finished strong, and they'll set themselves up well for the second half.
They have struggled down in Jalen de Groot's corner, Kiana. I wonder maybe in the second half whether Des Hasler will chat to Kieran Foran and Jaden Campbell about potentially peppering Sione Katoa with that sun still probably causing a fair bit of havoc down there.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of sun over there in the corner, so it wouldn't be a bad idea, but the Sharks are running amok. I think they look in total control really, and they're a completely different side to what we saw last week against the Dragons. So good to see the Sharks back playing some good footy.
Yeah, we'll see what the next 40 minutes brings. Cronulla had 54% of the ball and completed it 85%, 17 of 20 sets. Gold Coast completing 14 of 18 at 77%. Pretty even when it comes to run metres. Cronulla's made 8.94 and Gold Coast 8.07. 2 line breaks to 1 and 20 tackle breaks to 16. So both once again reasonably even. The Gold Coast maybe have been stitched up by the stat man there, Dino. They've only given them 6 offloads to 2. And in terms of defence, Cronulla have missed 16, made 136 at 81%. And the Gold Coast better than that. 20 tackles missed and 169, made it 87%. 5 errors for Cronulla to 4 for the Gold Coast. The penalty count is 2 all. So those stats are all fairly similar, but it is the scoreboard, of course, that it matters. 28 points to 10. Let's have a look at a quick couple of text messages. Great game. Thank you, Glendine. Thank you, Missy. Appreciate your text message. Sharks cannot afford slow starts moving forward, says Mitch. Top 4 sides will consolidate a 10-6 lead. Thank you to Brian for your text message. Thank you to Froggy. Lucky Mr. Sharky mascot got left around Woolaware Station. It has significant sentimental value. So if anyone's listening that's at the footy, Froggy has lost his Lucky Mr. Sharky mascot soft toy somewhere near Woolaware Station. So if someone can find it and make it safe, Froggy is looking for it. Appreciate that. Parramatta have done nothing for 40 years. Would you get rid of them too, says Jeff in Canberra. That's a good point after our earlier text to suggest getting rid of the Gold Coast. Thank you to Joseph for your kind words regarding Andrew along with Tim and Gaz. The Gold Coast is okay for a holiday but not a footy team. Thank you, Gaz. And Wazza says the Roosters to storm into the top 8 and cause carnage, peaking at the right time. I don't disagree with that at all. James Graham apparently is here enjoying the footy as well. Thank you, Froggy. Homebush Tiger, at least Andrew gets a week without babysitting Louis and MC. That is very good. Point, Homebush Tiger. And what happened to Cam McGuinness went off in that first half, so we might get an update with Kiana at half-time. keep the text messages coming through. 0467920222. Quickly around the grounds, NRLW first half. Destiny Brill scored to make it Brisbane 8, Parramatta 0. First half or half time, I beg your pardon, New South Wales Cup, Parramatta lead Newtown 16-6 and Canterbury lead Canberra 10-6. Queensland Women's Rugby League, Sunshine Coast lead South Logan 10-6, and in the AFL fourth quarter, Carlton 118 leading Port 44. In the AFL Women's, Geelong leading North Melbourne 12-6 in the first quarter. Here at Shark Park, it is 28-10. The hosts lead the Gold Coast Titans. Next, there is plenty more footy still to come. Q and the team will be calling the Q Clash. That's the AFL one, isn't it? It's the Queensland Derby. I think it's the Queensland Derby. Between the Broncos and the Dolphins, that's coming up next to preview with Q and Billy Moore. But before that, let's get the latest from the ABC News.
News with Satyam Weinstein. The leaders of both the United States and Russia have left Alaska after their highly anticipated summit ended without a peace deal for Ukraine. Our America's editor John Lyons reports from Anchorage.
Donald Trump warmly received his Russian counterpart on the tarmac of a U.S. military base in Alaska, the first time Vladimir Putin has been on American soil in 10 years. After about 3 hours of bilateral talks, the two emerged without a clear deal. President Putin said they'd come to an agreement that would pave the path for peace and warned Kyiv and Europe not to throw a wrench in the works. President Trump said they weren't there yet on a deal, suggesting there's one major point of disagreement, but not giving details. He said he'd brief Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and NATO. John Lyons, ABC News, Anchorage, Alaska.
Scores of people are missing and more than 280 have been killed in heavy flooding in Pakistan and India. Ali Crew reports.
Torrential rains have triggered flash flooding in two mountainous districts of the neighbouring countries. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Gilgit-Baltistan have been the worst-hit regions. Rescuers backed by boats and helicopters are working to reach stranded residents, and authorities say the death toll is likely to rise. Pakistan's Prime Minister has held an emergency meeting with disaster management authorities to facilitate evacuations in the flooded regions. More than 556 people have died in monsoonal floods in Pakistan since the end of June.
The South Australian government says a global expert on harmful algal blooms will arrive in Adelaide this week. Don Anderson is the director of the US National Office for Harmful Algal Blooms and is on his way to Australia. SA Minister for Consumer and Business Affairs, Andrea Michaels, says his input will help the government better support the community.
To have him here and have his knowledge, working with our scientists to work out what it is that is happening. It's a changing situation. We need to have that scientific knowledge to be able to plan.
Property industry experts say they're feeling more confident that Queensland's new seller disclosure laws won't dampen the state's property boom. The legislation came into effect this month, requiring sellers to provide detailed information, including heritage listings and land contamination. It led to a market slowdown, but with Brisbane leading the country in profitable property resales, Domain's chief researcher Nicola Powell says it remains a seller's market.
It was 99.5% of houses that were sold in the first 6 months of this year were resold for a profit. And that's the highest out of all of our major capital cities.
A rally in Melbourne CBD has been dispersed after a clash between police and protesters. About a dozen people wearing masks and dressed completely in black were seen scuffling with police on Russell Street this morning as police attempted to move them along. It's believed the group seen waving transgender pride flags were connected with a counter-protest against the Women Will Speak rally being held on the steps of State Parliament. Police have not confirmed how many arrests were made. A 14-year-old girl's allegedly been beaten and stripped of her clothes at Claymore in Sydney's southwest. Police say three 13-year-old girls threatened her with a knife, demanded she strip before whipping her with a phone charger. The trio allegedly took the girl's clothing, shoes and phone when they fled. They're facing charges related to aggravated robbery and child abuse material. Australian cricket legend Bob Simpson has died at the age of 89. Erin Marsicovetera has more.
Bob Simpson made his Test debut in 1957 against South Africa, and by the end of his career, 21 years later, had amassed almost 5,000 Test runs at an average of 46.81. Opening the batting alongside Bill Lawry, his first Test century came in 1964 against England at Old Trafford, and he went on to ultimately score 311 runs in the same innings. As a coach, Simpson led a revival of the Australian team's success, winning the 1987 World Cup and 4 straight Ashes series before leading the side to a famous victory against the West Indies in the Caribbean in 1995. Cricket Australia Chair Mike Baird has described Simpson as one of the greats of Australian cricket.
And in WA, prominent former Kalgoorlie politician Graham Campbell has died at the age of 86. He was elected the federal member for Kalgoorlie in 1980. He held the position until 1998, first as a Labor member and then later as an independent. Mr Campbell began his career as a pastoralist and became known for his support of the WA mining industry. You're up to date with the very latest from ABC News.
The summer of cricket has arrived early.
Clubs it straight down the ground for 6. He's on the pull shot. Boy, did he get that!
White ball cricket takes centre stage in the top end as Australia take on South Africa.
Down for leg before, finger goes up!
And it's on now on the ABC Listen.
Down the pitch, there we go. Bang!
Every ball live. Just click on the cricket button.
The 2025 NRL Premiership.
It's Indigenous round. Cronulla have the ball through Billy Burns right on halfway here at Shark Park. They go short to the right-hand side. Nicho Hynes goes himself, kicks over the top. Chasing himself, there's 2 Sharks. It'll be Nicho Hynes who chases his own kick and scores the try. 27 away as Adam Fanua-Blake gets up and plays it. Hynes is hit late as he gets the pass away or simultaneously, and he can only pass it to Tony Francis, who's away, and then in support he's got Jalen de Groot. Jalen de Groot will race away and score for the Gold Coast Titans. They're through again here. AJ Brimson gets straight through a gap, and he's got both Fermor on support on his left-hand side. Cronulla's middle defence has been cut straight open. And now Will Kennedy on the final play is 33 metres away from Gold Coast line. This could be anything this afternoon. It's really open stuff. Brindle puts the high kick up in the air. Jalen de Groot has to come off his goal line. It's picked up, he can't handle it, and Colhern will score the try. He's only been on the field for about a minute. It's his second touch. A 10 inside Gold Coast territory. They come open side right through Hynes, quickly through the hands. So Rotti, he has supporting Katoa, but he goes back towards the middle. He won't need to go to the edge because in the middle he had Nicho Hynes backing up on his left shoulder, and Nicho Hynes will score his second of the afternoon. Tioni Katoa will take the tackle of Kieran Ford. Scooting again is Brayley. Right-hand side, he goes short for Hynes. They've got numbers for Rotti. Down the right-hand side, he'll grab it back towards the inside. Oh, it is a perfect bounce for Will Kennedy. Kennedy picks it up, 25 out, races away and score.
The 2025 NRL Premiership.
It's Indigenous round.
Yes, 28 points to 10. Cronulla leading the Gold Coast at half-time. Next, what a cracker at Lang Park. The Broncos and the Dolphins in the derby. I haven't caught up with Billy Moore yet this season. It's good to hear Billy this afternoon. Alongside Quentin Hale-Q, we're looking forward to this clash as always.
It's Battle 6, Glenn, and the scene in the River City could not be any better. It is a gorgeous late winter's Saturday afternoon, and the stakes are absolutely huge. With both of these teams still no guarantee of playing finals. Brisbane just the 1 win more than the Dolphins with the 11 wins, but the much publicised hamstrung playmaking trio of Reynolds, Mam and Cobbo all not playing today. So we see Ben Hunt return to number 7. Billy Walters gets a go at 5'8", and Corey Pakes comes into the starting hooker's role, and they take on a Dolphins team which was absolutely humbled last week by the Roosters. Mind you, that form line looks pretty good after what the Roosters did to the Dogs at the Sydney Football Stadium last night. No final teams as yet, but what we do know for the Finns is that Trey Fuller is going to play at fullback because the hammer's been swung into the centres. Billy Moore, there's never really too much sell required about the battle for Brisbane. 5 instalments. They've been excellent in, well, different ways, all bar one pretty big blowout, but that was when the Finns won it this time last year, and it's the only one that they've won. What Stakes. How are you?
G'day, Q. To all our wonderful listeners, to Glenn, how are you? Look, it's great to be here. It's always good to be at Lang Park, but when you've got an occasion like this, full house, the 6th edition of the Battle of Brisbane, Bronx versus Dolphins. Before the start of this round, it was 6v9. There's so much to play here, so much. Last week, let's sum it up very quickly. Last week, the Dolphins had their pants pulled down. They were embarrassed. Their forwards were embarrassed. Nobody ran for 100 metres inside their forward pack. It's phenomenal. The numbers were so poor. I've never seen that back. For the Bronx, hamstrings, but they never were going to beat the Storm. This is a game where it's time now for some players to stand up. Those are going to be the age, bit of pedigree. It's can the Broncos spine that's got Walsh, that's got Hunt, overcome Katoa and Trey Fuller. Welcome back. Can't wait for it. It's going to be great.
Good on you, Billy. We'll bring it to you once things finish up between the Sharks and the Titans. But gorgeous conditions here, Glenn, and team news will come your way when it drops in about half an hour.
Good on you. Thanks, Q. Looking forward to that one. And then, of course, later on this evening, South Sydney and Parramatta, Brett Sprigg, Luke Lewis and Michael Carianis with the call of that one from 7:30 at the Olympic Stadium Australia. So back here at Shark Park, the first of 3 big games, and it is Cronulla in complete control at this stage of the Gold Coast Titans. 28 points to 10 Cronulla lead. Nicho Hynes with a double. Tries also to Jesse Colquhoun, Braden Trindle and Will Kennedy. Nicho Hynes has got 4 from 5. Jalen de Groot and Bo Fermor with tries for the Gold Coast. 1 from 2 for Jaden Campbell. The Gold Coast getting us underway, kicking towards the southern end of Shark Park, and Tom Hazelton returns it for the first hit up of the second half for the Sharks. 20 away from his own line, and they come open side left. Sione Katoa has the ball 25 away in centre field, and the referee is calling a halt because Katoa is clutching at his left leg and taking quite a bit of time to get up here. He looks to be in a little bit of difficulty at the moment, Dino. Maybe a left ankle potentially, it looks like.
Yeah, just watching a replay now, and it's trapped by the low man there is Regan Campbell-Gillard. No doubt they're looking to see what's going on here. It's very awkward. I don't know necessarily if it's in hip-drop territory, but he's standing up to his feet now, Katoa, and the trainer's giving the thumbs up, so that's a good sign for the Sharks winger.
Yeah, of course, plenty of injury concerns for him. Didn't play until round 14 because of that shoulder reconstruction, so he looks to be okay. He's playing the ball now, and we're continuing on. 25 out from that line. The Sharks, I almost dropped my binoculars on the deck, but I managed to catch them one-handed slip style. Jesse Colquhoun has the ball 32 away from his own line. What about that catch last night, by the way, the Warriors? Chanel Paris Tavita took a beautiful one-hander. And the Australian team in action tonight in South Africa. Of course, catch every ball live on ABC Sport. Just click on the cricket ball in the ABC Listen app. Final play for Cronulla. They come left. Trindle kicks downfield, taken by Jalen de Groot, who doesn't have the sun on his eyes this half. He'll be delighted with that, and he returns it back towards the 20-metre line where he's met by Hazelton and a couple of other Sharks, with Cronulla leading 28 points to 10. We've had a minute gone in the second half, and now Phil Sami takes it up over the 20-metre line. He's 24 away from his own goal line in centre field, and AJ Brimson at dummy half will move to go short to the left-hand side of the field, and Jacob Alec takes the tackle 30 away from the line. So they come back open side right now, and a decent hit up held up in the tackle is Regan Campbell-Gillard. He plays the ball on the 40-metre line, just 10 short of halfway, and then a good carry to take them up towards the halfway line by AJ Brimson. He plays the ball for Verrills. Left-hand side for 4 and a kick, just inside Cronulla's territory, goes straight down the field. Will Kennedy takes it on his own 20-metre line. Dummies goes himself, makes it up to the 30, where they'll start this set, leading 28-10 with 2 gone in the second half.
Yeah, good start from both teams, and one thing I've noticed with the Titans already is just trying to control the tackle a little bit more. We spoke about the first half, how quickly the Sharks were rolling downfield, the momentum they were able to generate, so there's a real effort from the Titans to try and stop that.
Good post-contact leaders here, real strong leg speed there from the Cronulla Sharks, getting through the middle, and now on this play, Adam Fanua-Blake strong through the middle again, up over the 40-metre line, 35 away from Gold Coast line. Quickly out of dummy half is Brayley, right-hand side now, centre field, and the Cronulla Sharks have got the ball 20 away on the final play. Brayley comes right, Colquhoun is close, gets it away to Hynes, Long ball over the top. Katoa loses it with the line open. Sammy picks it up, tries to send his teammate away over on that far side, but it's knocked on by Cronulla first, and the second knock on by the Gold Coast in Phil Sami. AJ Brimson was looking to fly the length of the field, but he couldn't hold on to the ball, and they get the ball back anyway. Cronulla after Sione Katoa's knock on with the line open.
Yeah, well, my comment about the effort to control things lasted about 2 minutes because the Sharks started to generate a lot of speed through the back end of that set, and it was on out wide. It was a beautiful ball, unfortunately, just a little bit high for Katoa, and in the sun comes up with the error. It could have been a 100 or an 80-metre dash the other way, as you said, to Brimson, but the Titans retained possession.
Get down to Keanu at the end of this set to find out what has happened at half-time. Here's a good offload by Beau Fermor, and now the Gold Coast can push forward towards the halfway line. It takes Blake Brayley and one other to finally stop in his tracks. Mo Fodawaker, he plays the ball left-hand side for, and AJ Brimson gets away from his man. Still going AJ Brimson on the 30-metre line, trying to get away from Colquhoun. Thinks about the strip, and then Hazelton comes over the top to effect a tackle on AJ Brimson. 28 away from Cronulla's line. Campbell will go high in the air with 4 minutes gone in this second half. Kennedy takes a great catch under pressure by Phil Sami and will take the tackle. 10 away from his own goal line. Cronulla lead 28-10. 4 gone second half. Touchline Kiana Takarangi.
Yeah, boys, the sun's starting to have an impact on the Sharks game there. I'm blaming the sun. That's what I'm going to say. But just a quick update on Cam McInnes. He won't be back. He is on the bench icing his knee. So his afternoon start.
Okay, big blow for the Cronulla Sharks. He gets through a mountain of work in the middle, doesn't he, Cam McInnes? And I suppose the only... Oh, what about the don't argue there from Talakai? Absolutely canes. Is that Tino on the deck? I tell you what, not many people get the better of Tino Fa'asuamaleaui, but Sifa Talakai has whacked into him, and Tino's in Disneyland. I don't think he'll come back either. Look at this run from Sifa Talakai, and it's just big man on big man collision, Dino.
Yeah, it's a big collision, and it's the shoulder he wears of Sifa Talakai. Sifa's running to his right.
Ball carrying up.
In comes Tino to try and effect the tackle. Meets the shoulder there, so unfortunately for Tino, it was a nasty knock. The trainer's talking with him now as he walks back to the line. There's a bit of a thumbs up. I can't imagine he'll stay on much longer. The independent doctor, I assume, is going to step in.
Peter Goff's gone, no chance. You are not staying on. I'm not sure what...
it would have come from the back of the bucket.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, but the trainer putting his thumb up. I mean, I don't know what the Gold Coast trainer was trying to get.
The only thing I can imagine is he didn't see the event. He might have been tending to another player because they're quite onto it, most trainers.
So Tino Fa'asuamaleaui heading up the tunnel for an HIA. As we mentioned, Cam McInnes injuring his knee. I was going to say that positive for Cam McInnes is not another scar on his face because he's got plenty of them, poor old Cam McInnes, and the teeth as well. So Adam Fanua-Blake for Cronulla on the final play has it 10 away from halfway, and then Hynes will kick from just inside his own half. It's a deep kick as well. AJ Brimson takes it on his own 10-metre line and returns it up past the 20. He's 25 away from his own goal line. Kiana Takarangi, Dean Hallertau, I'm Glenn Lauder. We've had 5 in the second half at Shark Park, and Cronulla lead 28 points to 10 over the Gold Coast Titans. Cronulla, of course, looking to go temporarily into 6th place. However, the Brisbane Broncos can win that place back if they beat the Dolphins in about an hour's time or so. And the Cronulla Sharks are defending at the moment as Gold Coast come away from their own end through over there on that far side, getting up and playing the ball as AJ Brimson. Play the ball about a metre inside Cronulla's territory. Now 4 and crabs across field. Gets it away for Campbell and then continues on for Chris Randall. Randall has the ball about 7 metres inside Cronulla's territory. Gets a couple of extra metres there as well, but plays it 10 inside. Final play. Campbell will kick down this right-hand channel. Goes through the middle. There's chasers coming everywhere, but it's allowed to bounce. Mo Fodawaker didn't want to take the catch, and it ends up with the Cronulla Sharks in the end, who will start this set on their own 20-metre line in centre field as they get up and play the ball through Hiroti. He plays the ball for Blake Brayley, and then Katoa one off the ruck right-hand side over the 20-metre line. He has it about 25 away. 25 in from the eastern touchline as well. Here's Will Kennedy, who takes the tackle about 29 away from the line. And Cronulla continuing to struggle to get away from their own end here. At least the Gold Coast Titans looking to muscle up in defence at the moment. Ronaldo Mulatalo is 15 short of halfway. Brayley from dummy half Trindle will kick from inside 40 early in the set. There's no wingers back. AJ Brimson has to race across, but it doesn't quite get the bounce that Trindle was hoping for and doesn't head towards that eastern touchline. So AJ Brimson can return it about 18 away from his own goal line, with Cronulla leading 28-10, 6.5 gone second half.
Yeah, it swung in that kick, didn't it? So off the right foot, it curls back towards AJ Brimson as he gets on his bike and gets across there, but you could see the sideline was right open. He had plenty of time to pull the trigger. Trindle, unfortunately, didn't get the angle, but the Titans, again, they're looking a lot more controlled this half. They're definitely aimed up a little bit more in defence with some more line speed.
Regan Campbell-Gillard has the ball 4 short of halfway. Can they turn some momentum in their favour here? They have the ball through Isaac Fasuamale Awi now on. So it's Isaac for Tino, with Tino getting that HIA, and Kieran Foran will now kick fairly early in the set as well, with Kennedy taking the catch 5 away from his own goal line and getting tackled not long after, right in front of his own goal line, about 15 in from the eastern touchline. Katoa now trying to get away from his own end, and yeah, Gold Coast with the territorial advantage at this stage. Play 2, they're still only 5 metres away from their own goal line. Mulatalo tries to improve that. He gets the ball away. They can't make it too far, and the Cronulla Sharks have to go through Blake Brayley out of dummy half to make yards. That's a good run from Brayley. He's 29 metres away from his own line, 10 in from the western touchline. Kennedy goes into dummy half. Hynes to Hazelton. Hazelton trying to get some forward momentum. He's 16 short of halfway. Final play for Cronulla. So they're once again through Hynes' kick from inside their own territory, about 32 away. AJ Brimson will look to take this on the full. He does so on his own 20 and returns it up almost to the 40-metre line. He's about 37 away from his own line, where they'll start this set with 8 minutes gone in the second half. The Sharks leading 28-10. Let's get back down to the touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, the Titans are doing a much better job defensively, like you just mentioned, Dean. The Sharks aren't able to roll through them like they were in the first half, so Titans are playing much better.
Tony Francis has the ball now about 3 short of halfway. He's held up in the tackle. Tom Hazelton involved there, and Francis will play the ball for Verrills. Left-hand side for Foran, and then straightening on a run is Fermor, getting an offload away as well, so they keep this alive. Campbell goes towards the 40-metre line. He's 11 inside Cronulla's territory, I beg your pardon. Gets up and plays it for Verrills. Left-hand side, Fodawaker. Fodawaker skips away from a couple as he goes from left to right in front of the defensive line. He gets an offload as well, but it's an ugly one. Fermor loses it, but backwards, picks it up on the next attempt. He's 12 inside Cronulla's half, where he plays the ball. They come short right-hand side. Campbell puts the high kick up in the air. Coming forward is Will Kennedy, takes it cleanly, and then taken in the tackle, 15 away from his own line in centre field. With 9 gone in the second half, Cronulla still leading, as they did at half-time, 28-10. Win Hiroti looks like to make a break down that right-hand side, but he's cleaned up by Sammy. Takes a tackle, 25 away. So Cronulla looking better this set. Sione Katoa is 16 short of halfway. Plays the ball for Hynes. They look a bit quicker in this set as well. Ronaldo Mulatalo is 10 short of halfway, and he'll take the tackle in centre field, with Brayley waiting at dummy half again. Coming to the left, Trindle gets it away to Toby Rudolph, playing out on this left edge at the moment, and he takes the tackle 3 away from halfway. Final play for Cronulla. Trindle will kick from just inside his own half. It's a big one. It's high. AJ has to come a long way forward. He loses it. Really good kick from Braden Trindle. Great chase as well by Ronaldo Mulatalo to force the ball loose. AJ Brimson had all the time in the world. He had to think about that. He had to think about it for too long, because that was Matt Burtness. That was a huge kick, and Cronulla get the ball back on the 20-metre line as they attack Gold Coast line, leading 28-10, 10 gone second half.
Yeah, it seemed like it was above the roof here in the stand for ages, because we've seen it go past, and then there's a significant amount of time before it came back down. And look, there's another winger in the competition who chases every kick with a lot of intensity, and that's Zach Lomax. And I think Ronaldo Mulatalo is right up there with him in terms of the effort that he provides for his kickers when he chases through.
So they win the scrum. They come to the right-hand side, and they had the ball. Cronulla only 13 metres away from the line through Hiroti. They want 6 again. They get 6 again. Too slow to get off Hiroti. Here's Sione Katoa. Gets it away to Hazelton. He's only 8 metres, 5 metres away from the goal line, underneath the sticks at the northern end of Shark Park. He'll get up slowly and play the ball. Now come left out of dummy half to Hynes. Gets it away to Trindle. Hands quickly, numbers, left-hand side. Mulatalo scores. quick hands out the back. Really nice stuff from Cronulla, going through the hands of Kennedy and Talakai. And Mulatalo had acres of space to dive over the line in the left-hand corner and score his 10th of the season. The first Cronulla player in history to score 10 or more tries in a single set in 6 consecutive seasons. I'll get it right eventually. Ronaldo Mulatalo gives them a 32 points to 10 lead. 12 gone in the second half.
Yeah, and I mentioned his effort in the kick chase. That's what hurt the Cronulla Sharks, that opportunity. And Ronaldo's a man to score the try. Once again, looking to their left. And they're so good when they move it out because they've got great execution, ball out in front, really soft touches from their outside man. In particular, Sifa Talakai, who's been a second rower throughout his career, has played in the centres a number of times as well. It takes real touch to be able to catch the ball, tempo your run, and then pass it in the same motion, which is what he does there on the end of that backline movement to find his winger. Mulatalo, a popular character here in the Shire, he comes up with a 4-pointer.
Touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, great try there by the Sharks. They look so slick when they move the ball. They didn't do this last week when it was a little bit wet, but yeah, good to see them moving the ball and finding some more points there on the left edge.
Hynes 3 inside the western touchline. 0467 920 222. Chef Robbo's only just finished work and he's asking about Teague Wilton or Cam McInnes. He hasn't heard the call. Teague Wilton's still out there, but Cam McInnes, his afternoon is over. He has injured his knee, so a bit of a concern there for Cam McInnes. He only played the first 21 minutes. As Nicho Hynes, what about this one? He curls it around beautifully. Adds the extras. Nicho Hynes, he is now 5 from 6. He's also scored 2 tries this afternoon, so a nice little 18-point haul for Nicho Hynes this afternoon, and they lead quite comfortably now, 34 points to 10. The Cronulla Sharks over the Gold Coast Titans around the grounds. NRLW, Brisbane leading Parramatta 18-0. Second half New South Wales Cup, Parramatta leading Newtown 2018, Canberra leading Canterbury 2010, and Newcastle leading the Dragons 6-0. In Queensland Cup, Central Queensland and Wynnum just getting underway. Townsville leading Mackay 6-4. In the AFL Men's, Hawthorn and Melbourne just getting underway. Hawthorn has kicked the first goal, and in the AFL Women's competition, Geelong taking on North Melbourne, and it is the Kangaroos leading the Cats 19-12 in the second quarter. 34 points to 10. Cronulla leading the Gold Coast. There's still 27 minutes to go, so Cronulla could be looking to really put a score on here. Their biggest ever victory, as I mentioned, over the Gold Coast was last season, 44-0. May not get that far, but they need 20 more points, so that might still be a bit of an ask, but certainly they are on top here. Cronulla, and that's a really good take in the end under pressure, because Teague Wilton was getting absolutely muscled there by Mo Fotuaika and Jaden Campbell. He lost the ball momentarily, but he caught it and was cleaned up. Here's Hazelton now on the halfway line. On the halfway line. They come back left for Trindle. I was looking through my binoculars and I couldn't work out what the line was, but it was the halfway line. Trindle puts the kick up and it's returned by Jalen de Groot, who loses the ball, and it's picked up by Nicho Hynes, but they are going to say it is a double knock on. Well, Peter Goff has decided it's going to be a scrum anyway. Nicho Hynes fell on it, but it might have touched a Cronulla player. So it'll be a Sharks scrum feed. 18 away from the Gold Coast line. 34-10, 26 and a half to go.
Yeah, it was hard work there for Jalen de Groot with the numbers pouring through, but that's the easiest catch and return that he's had all afternoon. He had a bit of time to try and find a spot, pick a mark out to try and get through it. Nicho Hynes does a good job to get down, the number 7 for the Sharks, put his shoulder into the tackle and jolt the ball free.
Thank you to Angelo in Tweed Heads for your positive thoughts for Andrew as well. Left-hand side, they win the scrum. Hynes back on the inside, Talakai. Talakai has it 7 metres away from the line. It takes 4 Titans to stop him. He'll get up and play the ball. Brayley at dummy half comes right, waiting for it over on the far side. Coming back on the inside is Puru, and then they finally take the tackle about 5 away from the line through Rudolph. Coming back to the left, Hynes cuts out Talakai, finds Mulatalo, scores a double inside a few minutes. Ronaldo Mulatalo has scored 2 tries in the last 4 minutes, and Cronulla lead 38-10. The floodgates do look like they're beginning to open. There's a kick to come and still 25 to go.
It looks like a bit of a training run when they're running these set plays, the Sharks. This time they go for the variation, which is Will Kennedy once again sweeping around the back, but this time Nicho Hynes throws a cutout pass all the way through to Renato Mulatalo. It fools Jalen de Groot. He comes up to put the pressure on, wedge in. They've obviously identified through the week that there's a wedge in defence on the edge from the Titans. Picks out his winger there, Mulatalo, and it's a free passage over the try line. He improves the position to make the kick for Nicho Hynes a little bit better.
Ronaldo Mulatalo, he went 5 games without scoring. He's now got 5 in his last 4. 2 doubles, Cowboys, and then again today against the Gold Coast. Touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, they look unreal, don't they? The right edge were running amok in the first half, but now it's the left edge's turn. But Ronaldo getting his second try. He's got 42 tries in 41 games here at home.
It's the Alex Johnston of Shark Park. Let's see what Alex Johnston can do tonight. Will he finally break Ken Irvine's record? Still got a few tries to go. Nicho Hynes is 13 metres in from the western touchline. 2 tries, 5 from 6 for Nicho today. He will move in and strike this one, and the touch judges like it again. It's got a nice little fade on it, and it's out to 40. Cronulla 40, Gold Coast 10 around the grounds in the AFL. Hawthorn 2 goals leading Melbourne 12-0. In the AFL Women's, North Melbourne 20 leading Geelong 12. NRLW second half, Brisbane leading Parramatta 22-0 now. LA Funga with the first try of the second half. And in the New South Wales Cup, Parramatta leading Newtown and Canberra leading Canterbury in the second half. Newcastle leading the Dragons in the first half. Queensland Cup, winner Manly leading Central Queensland 4-0. Townsville leading Mackay 10-4. And in Queensland Women's Rugby League, Sunshine Coast leading South Logan 22-6 and Ipswich leading Western Clydesdale 16-0. 0467 920 222. Toby Rudolph has the ball for Cronulla, and then from the next play they go one off the ruck right hand side, and Tuka Hautapua loses it as cold as you like. The Gold Coast pick it up, go to the open side right. Jalen de Groot tries to dive over in the corner, and I think he might have gone out or lost the ball. Peter Goff is going to say no try, but they spread it right quickly. Jalen de Groot dives over right near the corner post.
Just making sure, yep, looking that he doesn't ground the ball.
Yeah.
And just making sure that the genuine tackle is a good run.
Okay, so they'll look at the Cronulla tackling attempt on Jalen de Groot as well, but probably more specifically whether he holds onto the ball.
Yeah, that's right. That's a tackle.
Cronulla's making a genuine attempt to tackle at rugby. The ball is grounded on the touching goal line. We have a decision.
So it'll be a 20-metre restart for the Cronulla Sharks. Jalen de Groot actually does really well to ground that ball, but the momentum of his body is sliding him so far to the right that he can't get it before he reaches the touching goal line.
Yeah, it was the right play from Jaden Campbell to quickly go to his edge and find de Groot. We know he's a flyer, but Renato Mulatalo, he gets on his bike. It was an awkward pass from dummy half. I think there was a mix-up on who was receiving the ball, but Mulatalo makes up for it straight away, gets across, and he has a bit to say to de Groot afterwards, which is something that we know Renato can do. He enjoys his time out there on the field.
He loves it, doesn't he? So Cronulla with a 20-metre restart. They're not in a huge rush to take it. Blake Brayley will take the tap, and then the Cronulla Sharks will start this set again, as this occasion Puru is able to hold on to the ball, and then from the next play they make it to within about 15 metres of the halfway line. Getting up slowly to play it there is Kohun. They come back open side left. Toby Rudolph takes it up over the 40-metre. Strong run from Toby Rudolph. A smattering of applause here at Shark Park. He's held up in the tackle, 2 short of halfway. Rayleigh's at dummy half. Right-hand side, he goes for Puru. Keeps it alive for Nicho Hynes, and then finally Hiroti makes it to within 36 of Gold Coast's line. 12 in from the eastern touchline. They come back left. Hynes gets it away to Tapua. Tapua is hitting 6 again as well here for Cronulla. So the Gold Coast on the back foot. They're 20 away from the line, the Sharks. They lead 40-10. Teague Wilton has the ball, 13 away, and now they get a penalty. There's a high shot on Teague Wilton. 2 players involved for the Gold Coast Titans. Regan Campbell-Gillard was there, so too was Campbell. And Cronulla Sharks will have a penalty here. Surely they take the tap and keep the pressure on, Dino.
Yeah, they're going to roll on here, the Sharks. There's no point in taking the 2. They'll try and throw one of their set plays going to either edge at the moment.
Trindle back on the inside, straightening on his run is Rudolph, and they'll just be confidently waiting quietly here, the Sharks, to see what they can come up with. The patience is a virtue even when you're leading 40-10, and Talakai has the ball 7 away from the line, adjacent to the left-hand upright. He plays it for Brayley, coming right, it bounces, it's picked up by Hynes, Grubbers towards the in-goal early, will it be too deep? It's flying through Katoa. Sione Katoa might have slammed into that fence at the northern end. He gets up, so that's good news, but that ball was really close to the dead ball line. In the end, it was just too heavy, but Katoa was flying through, and it's so dangerous at these suburban grounds when you see him crashing into the advertising hoodies.
Yeah, he needed the camera to actually break his fall there, because there's a big pad on the front of it. It was a really nice play from Nicho Hynes, just didn't get the execution on the kick right, because there's a lot of space in behind. He had Katoa flowing through, as we just seen. A mistake now from the Titans. They can't get past their own 40.
No, they lose the ball again through Bo Fermor. That was 43 away, so just about getting past the 40. But Cronulla will be able to come again through Teague. Wilton has the ball about 37 away. Getting up and playing it for Brayley. Right-hand side he comes now. On the field again is Puru for the Cronulla Sharks. And they have the ball 29 away from the line. Getting up and playing it back on the inside left now. Puru with a second hit up of this set. And he'll take the tackle 19 away in centre field. He'll play the ball for Brayley. Right-hand side for Nicho Hynes. And then Tahua has the ball 10 away from the line centre field. Final play. Cronulla come right. Trindle gets it away to Kennedy. Numbers. Katoa, they'll score this time. Cronulla go from the left to the right really quickly. Will Kennedy saw that Katoa had the line wide open, and Sione Katoa scores his 4th of the season, and Cronulla are running away with this one. 44 points to 10. There's still a quarter of the game to go, 20 minutes, and they still have a kick to come.
Yeah, we've spoken about both sides of the field being just as damaging for the Sharks, and I mentioned before about it being almost a training run when they're looking at their set plays. Last tackle, they go to their right, and it's pretty simple. They got 5 out there, a little show under, and then a sweep line, which we keep seeing. Will Kennedy's got great touch with his hands, catch and pass in the same motion. That's got to be one of their go-tos every week at training, finding their fullback out back, and then he picks up the winger in Katoa, who loves to go toe-to-toe with his wing partner there in Mulatalo.
Touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, they look unreal, the Sharks. Like you keep saying, Dean, it's like a training run for them, but it takes a lot of skill to make the right reads and execute that. So a great try again there from the Sharkies.
44 points to 10. Sione Katoa with the try. 0467920222. Thank you, Jane in Corlette, Pez at Manana, Stringers in Stanmore, and also Spot the Ambo from Shoalhaven sending their best wishes to Andrew as well. Thank you for those text messages. And Jeff says, texters, don't be too hard on the Titans. Remember, it took Cronulla 49 years to win their first title. It's a good point, but the porch light is now off, Jeff. That is for sure. Thank you for your text message on 0467920222. Nicho Hynes moves in and strikes this one, and it doesn't come across far enough. So unable to add the extras this afternoon. Nicho Hynes is 6 from 8 with 2 tries this afternoon. 19 minutes to go. Cronulla leading 44-10. Rabbitborough in Samora is asking if there's any results in Group 9. I think Riverina Roosters down that way somewhere. I'm not sure whether Riverina Rooster is close enough to Group 9, but if anyone knows the Group 9 scores this afternoon, we'd love to hear from them on 0467920222. I can tell you Brisbane leading the Eels 32 points to 0 in the second half of that NRL W game. We're back underway here at Shark Park, and the deep kick goes to Will Kennedy, who sends on his way to Pua. He will take the tackle 20 metres away from his own line and 20 in from the eastern touchline. Here's Katoa, the try scorer, up over the 20-metre line, and he is brought down to his knees and then finally put on his back, 28 away from his own line, centre field. Brayley coming left. You just feel the sting is going out of this game a little bit, and no surprise when you look at the scoreboard as Puru gets up and plays the ball, and Cronulla making their way quite comfortably through the middle of the park, and you can hear the fans giving a nice little round of applause again there as Owen Hiroti makes a good run. Quickly out of dummy half goes Blake Crayley. He has Will Kennedy in support. Skips away from a couple. Now Hynes will kick early again. Chasers coming through. Billy Burns. But I reckon Phil Summy will get there first, and he knocks it over the touch-in goal line. Phil Summy probably could have left it go over the touch-in goal line, but he didn't know how close Billy Burns was behind him, and he didn't want to take any chances. So it'll be a goal line dropout for the Gold Coast, and Cronulla can look to continue to keep this pressure on them.
Yeah, once again, eyes up football from Nicho Hynes. Sees the space in behind. A little bit of offload second phase play, so he pops it in, gets some chases through Billy Burns, the main man for that. But Phil Samuel, I agree. I think it was going to go dead. Plays at it, but
goal line dropout just about goes 10. Braden Trindle picks it up, goes straight through. I thought he was going to score untouched, but he's hit with a high shot. This could be potentially, it's just going to be a penalty. Now, it was in the last act, it was Sam Verrills, I think, that
you're right.
got Will Kennedy high, a metre away from the line, and I beg your pardon, Braden Trindle about a metre away from the line. It could have been a penalty try. He had a player already around his legs in Campbell, so I think if it was one-on-one, it could have potentially been a penalty try, but Campbell was already effecting the tackle down low. So it's a penalty. They take the tap, they go right. Hynes back on the inside, Billy Burns, and Billy Burns takes the tackle 4 away from the line, leading 44 points to 10. Cronulla over the Titans, still 17 to go. Short they go, one off the ruck, and Tapuha scores. Close to the line, Tukuha Tapuha in his 6th NRL game scores his first try. And Cronulla are just about to rack up a half century with Nicho Hynes, a kick to come, adjacent to the right-hand upright.
Yeah, very slow to react, the Titans, through that set. They get the tap, and their left side hadn't actually filled it up. So Keanu Kinney, I think, just came on the field, and they didn't have a left winger. Luckily for the Titans on that play, they didn't go there, the Sharks, but they come back to the middle, and it's that crafty number 9 who's been so great for them. Blake Brayley, he jumps out, picks up the big man Hautapua, who just barges over close, gets the arm out. He's going to be very hard to see. He's humongous, Hautapua, and gets his try.
Absolutely massive, isn't he? He's 114 kilos and the best part of 2 metres. We'll wait for this kick, Kiana, because Nicho Hynes, Nicho Hynes is about to move in and strike this one. He's pretty much right in front, so he won't take too long to kick this one. I said his first try of the season, of course, scoring last year for Cronulla as well. This is his 19th NRL game, 6th for 2025. Hynes about 13 out, 25 in from the eastern touchline, makes no mistake. Touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, that was a strong run there by Hautapua, crossing the line, which was a good reward for him after coming onto the bench from, being 18th man, named 18th man originally. But, boys, I think it's safe to say that Northies is going to be going off tonight.
Sure it will be. I hope for Craig Fitzgibbon's sake that the players behave themselves without bringing too much attention to it. There's certainly been issues with the Cronulla team in the past after wins, but I'm certainly not suggesting that anything will happen tonight, that's for sure. As they get back underway for Gold Coast Titans, and Will Kennedy sends Hautapua back away again, and he takes the tackle 20 away from his own line, 50 points to 10. They are only 6 points away, or make it 4 points away now, from their biggest ever victory over the Gold Coast Titans, which happened in the very last game that they played again. They lose the ball, but it goes backwards. They pick it up, and it was touched by a Gold Coast player, so another set here for the Sharks. Hiroti will play the ball, 25 away from his own line, 0 play. Brayley comes right, links up with Sione Katoa, and Katoa has the ball 12 short of the halfway line in centre field. Get up slowly and play it for Brayley. Goes right to Nicho Hynes, gets it away then to Hiroti. One-on-one he is with Tapua, with Keanu Kinney on the field for the Gold Coast Titans, and they come left now through Hynes. Here is Tapua, dummies, goes himself, and then finds himself into the defensive line, 11 inside Gold Coast territory. Play the ball for Brayley, left-hand side for Trindle, and then on it goes to Toby Rudolph. Rudolph has the ball 25 away from Gold Coast line, 15 in from the western touchline. Brayley comes right now for Trindle, gets it away to Puru, and they keep it alive. They've got numbers on the right-hand side. It could be Katoa for a double as well. It is. Ronaldo Mulatalo scored a double inside 4 minutes earlier, and Sione Katoa has scored one inside 6 minutes. Cronulla Cronulla running right, 54 points to 10. Still 14 minutes to go and a kick to come from the touchline on the eastern side.
Yeah, some dejected figures for the Titans as they regroup in behind the line, but again, the Sharks, they go to their the left-hand side, they shape up on the right, and there's not much to this. It's pretty simple through the hands passing. Puru does a good job. He just gets the ball in the hands of Nicho Hynes, who sums it up perfectly, creates enough time for his outside man, passes it on to Hiroti, who's had a really good game coming into the side in that right-hand centre position. He draws and passes outside to his winger there in Katoa. He's got a bit of work to do, but he gets through the cover defenders coming across and grounds the ball with a bit of a barrel roll.
The other good thing about this for Cronulla is they're for and against, because they are in that battle with the Brisbane Broncos and the Roosters. Brisbane with a for and against of plus 104 and Cronulla plus 35 going into this game. So all of a sudden you add 44 points to that and it's looking a lot more healthier at plus 79 for Cronulla. Can they make it even more? Touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, feeling for the Titans a bit now. There's still 13 minutes to go. I'm sure that they're counting down those 13 minutes, but unreal footy by the Sharks. It's good to see them spreading the ball, and they just make it look so easy when they do it.
Currently the equal biggest victory over the Titans, the Cronulla Sharks, as Hynes moves in from the touchline and can't add the extras on this occasion. So it remains 54 points to 10. The Cronulla Sharks are leading the Gold Coast Titans. It is an absolute rampage at Shark Park. And as we have a look at the team news from Lang Park, the Broncos will be 1-17. Jesse Harpers is the 18th man. For the Dolphins, Max Fiinge is out, so too is Bromwich. So Trey Fuller comes in at fullback. I think we were kind of expecting that with Hamiso Tabuai-Fido to go to the centres, and then Peter Holler has been added to the bench. Thank you, Q, for that. And of course, we will be looking forward to listening to the 6th edition of the Battle of Brisbane between the Broncos and the Dolphins after this one, and then South Sydney up against Parramatta tonight at the Olympic Stadium. So don't adjust your dials all the way through until 10 p.m. this evening here on ABC Sport. Great to have your company in 0467 920 222 if you would like to get involved. Cronulla has the ball through Rudolph, about 13 metres away from halfway. They come right through the hands of Nicho Hynes and then Billy Burns, and Billy Burns has the ball about 6 short of the halfway line. Brayley out of dummy half, left now, and Napuru is looking to find a way through. He will take the tackle 3 inside Gold Coast territory. Final play, Trindle puts the high kick up in the air, down into the corner of Jalen de Groot, who takes the catch, but he's close to the touchline again, and he's bundled over again. The Cronulla Sharks are having a field day. Poor old Jalen de Groot. It's happened to him twice this afternoon, and the Cronulla Sharks will get the ball back 15 away through a play the ball on 15 away from the Gold Coast line, I beg your pardon, with 54-10 lead and 11 and a half to go.
There's a bit of lesson there for de Groot. He needs some help from his teammates for a starter, but when you got those high kicks near the side, there's nothing wrong with letting the attacking team take possession and then tackling them as soon as they come down with it. He's in the opposite position there, and Little Tyler's just having a field day.
They had the ball in the centre of the field. Brayley's at dummy half, right? He goes for Hynes, and then changing direction is Billy Burns. He has the ball 9 away from the line, adjacent to the right-hand upright. He'll play the ball, they'll come back left, and Puru has it, keeps it alive for Hynes, who has to juggle, but regathers, and then goes to ground so he doesn't lose the ball. Takes the tackle of Chris Randall 10 away. Brayley back at dummy half again, cutting out Rudolph, and then linking up with Puru, and Puru takes the tackle 4 away from the line, near the left-hand upright. Brayley coming back into dummy half again. He'll come left now, Trindle waiting for it. Short ball, shut the gate. Jaden Campbell takes the intercept. Oh, hang on, maybe not. He doesn't have the legs because Will Kennedy's come across. Moeen Haroti's come across. Jaden Campbell was on a treadmill. He's tackled 10 inside Cronulla's territory. I tell you what, when he took that catch, I thought he was away, Jaden Campbell, but Cronulla scrambled really well, and now they go to the left-hand side through Keanu Kinney. He has the ball 30 metres away from Cronulla's line. Well, it looked like it was all over there there, but Cronulla have given away a set of 6 here because they just needed to regather in defence. They'll have a full set here to defend their own line. There's a pass there that's gone backwards. Regan Campbell-Killard was trying to organise play around him. He didn't realise the ball had come to him. It bounced at his feet, and then he ultimately picked it up. So the Gold Coast not really used to having the ball in their hands at the moment. They have it through Joshua Paxton. He plays the ball for Verrills. Left-hand side, Tino Fasuamalawi, who's back on, so he's past that HIA. That pass looked forward according to the crowd, but it might have just floated. And Keanu Kinney will take the tackle 9 metres away from the Cronulla line, 5 in from the eastern touchline. They come open side right now. AJ Brimson to Kieran Foran, dummies to the line, then gets away to Campbell. Campbell stops in his tracks and he doesn't find a way through. Jaden Campbell doesn't know what to do there, and he takes the tackle 18 away from the line, 25 in from the western touchline. Cronulla leading 54-10, 9.5 to go. Tino Fasuamalawi to RCG. Campbell-Killard backs into traffic and takes it to within 5 of the line, and then gets an offload away. The referee didn't call held, and they kick towards the in goal, and that's a great catch by Braden Trindle, close to the line to stop the Gold Coast coming through. Really nice little grubber in behind. Paxton was chasing through, so too Verrills, but Braden Trindle was there to wrap it up and remain 54-10, 9 to go.
Yeah, well, they were running out of ideas, weren't they, the Titans, and the kick was not a bad option, but well done by Trindle to put himself in behind the line. As we see Sifa Talakai going another bumping run down the right side. He just keeps swatting off defenders like they're nothing.
Like Dodgem cars at the moment. He's just bouncing into everyone. Here's Sifa Talakai, and he takes the tackle 25 away from his line. Now they come back to the left-hand side, and Sione Katoa, who has a double this afternoon, takes the tackle on the 30-metre line. He plays the ball. It's a messy ruck because there were 2 Titans players lying in it. Oh, now this should be shut the gate for Phil Sami. It is. Blake Brayley had to work to get between 2 Gold Coast players in the ruck. He went to throw the pass, but it ended up with Phil Sami, who races 35 metres and scores the try for the Gold Coast with the intercept. 54 points to 14 with a kick to come for the Gold Coast at 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, he hasn't had it all his way this afternoon, Brayley. He's still been solid, but there's been a few occasions where he's picked out a poor option on his pass because he's seen 2 guys. I think he was trying to go to the outside, but Will Kennedy was in front of him and he threw the ball straight into him. So I know it's been free-flowing for the Sharks, so he's probably seen some opportunities pop up that he's looking to overplay his hand a little bit. The ball goes to Sammy, who races away. Like you said, it was shut the gate as soon as he got the ball. He's got a bit of pace for them, Sammy.
Yeah, he missed that South Sydney game with an HIA, and he's come straight back in for Brian Kelly, who's out with an HIA, and it means that Phil Sami has passed Brian Kelly on the list of Gold Coast appearances. They were both on 140, and they're racing each other, and Phil Sami has got the upper hand today. He's also scored his 15th of the season. Touchline, Kiana.
Nice try there by Sammy. I'm still a bit disappointed with what could have been a try earlier by Jaden Campbell after he made that break. He kind of turned it off there, boys, but good to see them cross the line, although the score is still very upsetting for them.
Phil Sami, that's his first try against Cronulla as well. He's a prolific try scorer, 70 in his career, but he's never scored against the Sharks. He has now. He's got the set. Campbell, from about 13 in from the eastern touchline, adds the extras. He's 2 from 3 this afternoon. 54 points to 16 with 7 minutes to go. 0467920222. Hey, gang, loving the call. You think the NRL should have more teams so there are no buys? Another Melbourne to compete with AFL, couple in West Australia. Canberra tragic. Adam, victory, cheers. Thank you, Adam. They're getting, obviously, the Perth Bears in 27 and then the PNG side in 28. So they are continuing to add. There has been, obviously, talk of potentially another team in New Zealand as well. I know Dean Hallertau's a proud, maybe Christchurcher. We'd like to see a South Island team, maybe, Dino?
Yeah, I'm from Invercargill. There's not a lot of
even
rugby
further
league down in Invercargill, but Christchurch are a fairly strong rugby league area. But yeah, I like even numbers are good for making draws, obviously.
They'd have to be the Invercargill Penguins or something. You look out and see Antarctica. Christchurch would be the obvious one if there was going to be a second team on the South Island in New Zealand anyway. But thank you for that text, and we look to keep expanding as Tino Fasuamalawi has the ball 23 metres away from the line. Left-hand side, Foran gets it away, and they're trying to make a few more metres here. There's an offload, and they're back to Foran. Still going here. The Titans and AJ Brimson splits the line. He's got support on his left. Does Keanu Kinney have the speed? He does, but he's dragged down beautifully, one-handed by Katoa. He looked like he was away, and Katoa just reached the arm out. Now they come to the right. It goes through the hands of Campbell. Ends up with Francis. Tony Francis takes the tackle, 15 away from the line and 13 in from the western touchline. They trail 54-16. There's 6 to go, but they're still trying here, the Titans, and they have it through Regan Campbell-Killard. Gillard held up in the tackle on the final play, 10 away centre field. Verrills comes left, gets it away to Paxton. They keep it alive on the left-hand side, and it's a disappointing end of the set with both Fermor taken in the tackle, 6 away from the goal line, and Cronulla with a 54-16 lead and 5.5 to go.
Yeah, some enterprising play from the Titans, although that last one was left a little bit to be desired. I'm not sure if Kieran Foran was trying to find Fermor. Fermor didn't look like he knew it was last play, but yeah, it's good to see the Titans still applying themselves in patches with the ball in hand.
A couple of similar text messages here. Ron at Foster, do you think Desi will go off his dial in the dressing room after the game?
Hard when you actually get dealt with. It's very hard to go off at everyone because what's the point in driving the hammer in?
Okay, fair enough. That's an interesting one because this one says, geez, an earthquake this morning and soon a volcano in the change room. So maybe not.
He might.
They're attacking the line. They're 10 away. Tino Fasuamala-Awi advances it to within 3 metres of the line. Verrills is waiting at dummy half. Can they get back on the board here? Verrills, dummy half, left-hand side for Brimson. Changes direction back to Kieran Foran. Cuts out one, ends up with Campbell. Campbell tries to scoot away from a couple. Tom Hazelton comes over the top to effect the tackle. 9 away from the line, centre field. 4.5 to go. They play the ball for Foran at first receiver. Back on the inside for Campbell. Gillard slammed on his back. 6 away from the line. Tries to get a quick play the ball. Turtles off his back and then plays it for Verrills. Short ball close to the line. Josh Paxton scores the try. And the Gold Coast get 20 points. 54 points to 20. Kick to come. 4.5 minutes to go. And it's Josh Paxton's first try in the NRL in game number 5 for him. 54-20 with 4:20 to go.
Again, very nice play from the Titans. Regan Campbell-Gillard actually gets upended, sat on his back, so it's a really strong tackle. But the Sharks don't readjust. Will Kennedy's the fullback that's involved. He moves back to the short side, and around the posts are a little bit loose. Sam Verrills recognises that, jumps out, finds a hard running Paxton who gets across with a committed run. And once again, well done to the Titans for sticking in there despite the scoreline.
Scott from Goulburn also raises the same point I did about the for and against. Thank you, Scott. And Jaden Campbell adds the extras from right in front. 54-22 touchline, Kiana.
Yeah, like you boys keep saying, it's good to see the Titans sticking in there even despite the scoreline. But yeah, good to see Jaden Campbell convert from right in front to lessen that scoreline difference.
Mark from Greenwell Point, no, I won't be doing the GSB. Thank you for your text message, I appreciate it. Shout out to all of the callers at the ABC Seamless coverage without the leader. Thank you, Jeremy. In Barrel, we want our leader back, that is for sure. I hope our boy Cam, the bleeder McInnes, is okay. Not many players passionately as the bleeder, that is for sure. He is gold. Up, Chris O. Thank you very much for that one. Keep them coming, 0467 920 222. Wasn't Bert Munro from Invercargill? Perhaps the Invercargill Indians, says
it was.
Ian Culborough. There you go. Good knowledge. As deep kickoff goes down for Big Tino to return it for the Gold Coast with 3 minutes 40 to go. 11 away centre field. Tino plays the ball. They come to the left through the hands. Regan Campbell-Gillard dummies, goes himself, takes the tackle 20 metres away. Don't go anywhere because we're heading off to Lang Park next for the Battle of Brisbane Volume 6. The Broncos and the Dolphins, and then later to Stadium Australia for South Sydney and Parramatta. Big night here on ABC Sport. The Gold Coast Titans trying to get some respectability to this 54-22 scoreline. AJ Brimson almost splits the gap. They come right from Verrills out of dummy half to Phil Savvy, bounces away from a few, keeps it alive. Regan Campbell-Gillard backing up. Here's Campbell, touched by a Cronulla player. 6 again for the Titans. They're 27 away from the line. 3 minutes to go. Right-hand side for him. Back on the inside, Fasuamala-Awi, 19 away from the line now. Centre field getting up and playing it for Verrills. He'll come left out of dummy half. They want it, the Gold Coast Titans. They want another try. Paxton loses the ball one-on-one though. That is great defending there from the Cronulla Sharks, close to their line. Toby Rudolph coming up with a one-on-one on Paxton. So the Sharks will put it under their jumper and look to finish this one off. Getting over that loss to the Dragons last week, winning 4 in a row before that, and temporarily moving up to 6 this afternoon, the Sharks. They're 20 metres away from their own line, 2 minutes to go. And they will just take it easy now with one off the ruck stuff. The Gold Coast Titans have been pretty valiant in the last 5 or 10 minutes or so. They've thrown the ball around, they've scored a couple of tries, but it was way too little too late. The Sharks were ruthless, particularly in the period before before and after half-time. It's been an excellent display. Trindle will kick on the last from inside 40, but it's straight down the ground. Jalen de Groot is delighted that the sun is setting and we're in shade this afternoon. Finally, he takes the catch and they spin it to the left-hand side where Keanu Kinney takes the tackle 31 away. Plays the ball for Foran and then Phil Sami takes it up towards the 40-metre line with an offload, keeping it alive now. Gold Coast Titans through the middle of the park. Heading up, well, that could be it's a 2-on-1 strip. It is, yeah. Toby Rudolph was in there, but he didn't drop off quickly enough. Tony Francis had the ball stripped from Colquhoun, so they take a quick tap through Verrills. And Verrills makes it up to the 40-metre line. 10 inside Cronulla's territory. There's a minute 20 to go. Verrills will slowly play the ball for Brimson. Right-hand side for Chris Randall. And Chris Randall is 33 away from Cronulla's line. 25 in from the western touchline. 54-22 at the moment between the Cronulla Sharks and the Gold Coast Titans. They come to the left. Tino Fa'asuamaleaui gets it to Foran. The pass goes behind AJ Brimson, who's hit without the ball and hurt. And over there, finally at the back, falling on it is Keanu Kinney. So he plays the ball. Phil Sami takes it into the defensive line, takes the tackle 30 away. AJ Brimson's still down here. There's 45 seconds to go. And he just got copped as he missed that ball on the way through. Tino gets it away to Foran. Foran gets it away to Campbell, who slips as he takes the catch and then is tackled by Trindle. 25 away from the line. Verrills left for Foran, kicking towards the in goal. Chasers are coming through, but it's lost by Katoa forward. Hynes is going to be in front of him. It'll be a penalty. Sione Katoa looked to catch the ball. It went over his shoulder and Nicho Hynes picked it up knowing that it was in offside position. So the Gold Coast will finish this game with 16 to go with a penalty right in front. They take the tap through Tino and they'll have one more, possibly two more plays. Pete Goff has called timeout because Tino passed it simultaneously and now he's telling him to go back on the mark.
I think you have to wait for him to actually
tie back on again, yeah. 4 seconds to go. Right-hand side, Foran, Campbell, Kinney tries to find a way through himself, then takes the tackle. What a win for the Cronulla Sharks. 54 points to 22 over the Gold Coast Titans. It has been an absolute thumping here this afternoon. And I can tell you, in the history of the NRL, that is only, I beg your pardon, no, there has been a few. I thought that was going to be one of the first 54 coming through. There's been 18 of them. And that is a big win. I was looking at the wrong square. That is a big win for the Cronulla Sharks. That puts them back up temporarily at least to 6. We'll get some reaction from Keanu in just a moment. But Dino, particularly impressive, as I just mentioned, but just before and then particularly after halftime.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. That is an odd scoreline, about 54-22. The Sharks, they did assert themselves in this game early and they continued on with it through the first part of the second half, but they will be disappointed with the way things finished to allow the Titans to run in some late tries. I reckon that is going to be a focus from Fitzgibbon, was just that effort. But all in all, their completion rate was better than it has been in the past. Their ineffective tackles are something that they're going to have to work on because against the good teams, if you're going to open up that much, you don't want to be scoring more than 22, 24 points to get the victory. You want to be able to do it off the back of your strong defence. So, in front of a home crowd, a beautiful afternoon, they'll be happy with that. But you could feel it at the end. There's a weird sort of flatness in the way things finish off.
Yeah, that last 10 minutes, it was a bit strange, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And just to confirm, that is the first time in the history of the New South Wales Rugby League since 1908 that it's finished 54-22. Let's get back down to Kiana.
Thanks, boys. I'm joined by Blake Brayley. Sorry, Brails. What a massive game for you guys. How does it feel to come away with that win?
Yeah, it was good in patches. Obviously, such a great side. Titans have been flying for everything this year, and it was a good turnout for ourselves. We had a really good patch in the middle, and towards the end, they probably put the foot off the gas there. But overall, happy to get the 2 points, and it's good to go in the bye, with a win.
Now, you guys had a disappointing loss last week against the Dragons. What were the main work-ons coming into this game?
Yeah, just back ourselves. Probably weren't playing as much football as we wanted to, and thought today we turned up with that attitude. If we saw something, we took it, and defensively we were a bit better in patches, but it was good to get the win, and good to go in the bag, 2 points.
Did the conditions play, any role in your performance today? I think you guys, spread the ball a lot more than last week.
Yeah, definitely. I know for myself, I prefer, dry football here. So it's been a while since we played, a day game where the sun's out. So it's nice to be here at Shark Park where, the weather's good and the song's playing in the background.
Well, enjoy the win and rest up for next week. All the best for the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Kiana. It'd be good to get some reaction from the Gold Coast Titans as well, if we can. Obviously, gallant in defeat, particularly in that last sort of 10 or 15 minutes. As you said, Dino, it looked a bit flat there, but what it did allow was for the Gold Coast Titans to sort of throw the ball around a bit there.
Yeah, there was a period in that second half where I thought they just looked very disinterested and disengaged, but the late points will certainly change the way they feel about the game.
Let's get back down to Kiana.
I'm joined by Kieran Foran down here. Kieran, obviously a really disappointing result for you guys. How did it feel out there?
Oh, yeah, that's probably our most disappointing performance for the year. We had a good week leading into today, and we want to finish the year off strongly, and I said all the right things, but we lost it in that 20-minute period before half time. They just can't give a team like the Sharks 28 points at half time. It's always going to be hard to claw back.
Yeah, for sure. What was the chat like at halftime? What were the biggest work-ons coming into the second half?
We certainly wanted to be more effective in our tackle. We felt like they were rolling us. We were lacking energy on our kick chase. We were missing the mark really with our ruck control, and they were rolling us to edges and then getting joy, particularly down our left side. So we just wanted to clean that up. That was the main talking point. But they came out in the second half and picked us apart on both edges, which was disappointing.
Now you guys are back home next week against the Warriors. The last few games for you yourself. How are you feeling about it all?
Oh yeah, I'm all right. I'd love for us to finish with a few wins. It's been a really tough year for us up there. It's we've been putting in a heck of a lot of effort. You feel a bit defeated at the moment, but look, at the end of the day, I know the boys are trying their best. We're all trying to turn it around. It's just not happening just at the moment. But we just got to hang in there. Like I said, 3 games to go. We've got to keep our chins up and hopefully, like I said, finish strongly.
We'll rest up, regroup, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you to Kieran Foran for having a chat to us. Don't go too far, Kiana. We might get you to get the player of the match when Dean Hallertau lets us know how his ABC Player of the Year points played out.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3 points to Nicho Hynes. I thought he controlled things really well. Obviously, on the points front, he had plenty in his kit bag, but he kicked really strong, defended really well, which is what you want your halves to do. And he looked for the opportunities and he executed for the most part where he needed to be. For 2 points, I'm going to go to Marwin Hiroti. I thought he was great filling in for Jesse Ramian. Gives Craig Fitzgibbon something to think about when he starts to look at players returning from injury and whatnot, but it was a really strong performance. Later on a couple of tries and got one himself. And then for 1 point, I'm going to go Sione Katoa. His work out of the backfield was enormous. Got through so much work, and he's just a bundle of energy every time he runs the ball. And I thought he was outstanding. A couple of meat pies as well. Love watching that little battle he's got with Militalo in terms of try scoring.
Kiana has our player of the match.
Oh, okay, you are the man of the match apparently. I'm joined by Nicho Hynes. Nicho, what a performance. How good is it to get that win here?
Yeah, it's good. Put a performance on here at Shark Park. Love playing here on Arvo footy. Dry track. That's when we play our best footy. So disappointed with some of those tries at the end there. That wasn't Sharks. So I guess we'll probably learn our lesson from Fitzy pretty quickly, but happy all in all.
And you crossed the line there for 2 meat pies. How good did that feel?
I don't often score tries, so very happy to get over the line and get a double. So just happy to play and enjoying footy at the moment.
See, now you guys have a few more games before going into the finals. How confident are you that you can keep this winning form?
Yeah, I think we can. I had a little slip up last week. Bit of an attitude adjustment. Got a bye this week, so we'll get back to training and work really hard over the next couple of weeks before we play the Knights here again. So we've got to stay confident. It's anyone's game this year. A lot of teams, the bottom teams have been the top teams have been the mid-range. So I think it's anyone's game this year. So stay confident and moving into the big games.
Now tell us, are you going to be going to Northies at the end to celebrate with all the fans?
Nah, I'll stay away from that joint now. I'm getting a bit older now, so go home, kick the feet up. Going to go up to the Central Coast and visit the fam over the next couple of days. So, yeah, exciting.
Enjoy the rest in the bye week and all the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. So Cook Islands Language Week last week, did you?
Yes, are you coming to the Cook Islands with us? That's the question.
Maybe.
How good. Thank you, Nicho. And, continuing on Indigenous round as well. Why would he want to go to Northies when he's going to God's Country tomorrow, the Central Coast?
Your place, yeah.
And just on this text message, Tim from the Gold Coast, get the Kings cold at Northies tonight. There'll be a crowd. Thank you, Tim. What was the Broncos-Eels result? They beat Parramatta 38-4 in the NRL W. A few other text messages. The Titans had no backbone in their defence. Tony from Bundaberg says the Moree under-10s would give the Titans a fright. Well, they won their fourth grand final in a row today, as we heard on the text line earlier. Seamus in Morven is listening on the dozer. Desi's blow-up's going to be savage. And this text, Bluff is about the only place colder than Invercargill. It would make even the Raiders feel the chill. I think I remember Billy Connolly might have done a show in Bluff years and years ago on one of his world tours of New Zealand. Yes, very cold. Shout out to Jamie and Big Mel up the Titans. Enjoying the call. Titans had no backbone team from Mackay. Maybe the Gold Coast players' shower roster and timing is up for grabs, I guess. Thank you. That is good. Kiana, you can probably head upstairs as well, actually, if you're done and dusted. I can't see where she is down there now. I think she's just having fun. She's just catching up with all of her Sharkies mates. Thank you, Kiana, for all your work down on the touchline. Wonderful stuff this afternoon. You keep mentioning Battle of Brisbane 6, but what about the Crushers against the Broncos? That's a good point, Steve from Brisbane. My apologies. They would have played each other in 95 and 96. They wouldn't have played each other in 97, and then the Chargers were Gonski by then. So I reckon they might have played 2 or 4, something like that. That is a very good point. Thank you very much for your text messages, Steve. Appreciate all of those. 0467920222. Quickly around the grounds, as I said, Brisbane beating Parramatta 38-4 in NRLW. Cronulla over the Titans here earlier 12-8. Full-time in New South Wales Cup wins for Parramatta over Newtown, Canberra over the Bulldogs, and Newcastle leading St George Illawarra 6-0 in the second half. Queensland Cup, Mackay trailing Townsville 18-10 at half-time. Second half in the women's game, Ipswich leading Western 16-8. AFL men's 40 points to 6, Hawthorn leading Melbourne, and in the AFL women's third quarter, North Melbourne leading Geelong 20 points to 14. Here at Shark Park, it was an absolute demolition, 54-22. Nicho Hynes scored a double, as did Ronaldo Mulatalo and Sione Katoa. There were tries to Jesse Colquhoun, Braden Trindle, Will Kennedy and Tuka Hatapua. 10 tries. Nicho Hynes finished 7 from 10. And for the Titans, Jalen de Groot, Bo Fermor, Phil Sammy and Josh Paxton all got over the line. Jaden Campbell finishing with 3 from 4. Kiana, once again, thank you for all your help. Dino, always good to catch up.
Thanks, mate. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be at the Footy Stadium tomorrow. I have to deal with Louis and Gibbsy tomorrow, so wish me all the best. Joel, thank you for your work on the buttons. Thank you to Renell Moa in the studio as well. And don't forget, plenty of footy still to come. Lang Park not too far away for the Broncos up against the Dolphins. But for the mid-game show, let's head back to the studio and join once again Luke Lewis, Michael Carianis and Brett Sprigg.
G'day, Estee. Thank you for that, and we'll let you get mentally prepared for the odd couple tomorrow, Louis and Gibbsy at the football stadium. And yes, it was a feeding frenzy there at Shark Park, wasn't it, Louis? We spoke about the need for the Sharks to just get a win after last week's disappointment against the Dragons, but they won, and quite comfortably as well.
Yeah, played well, the Sharks. Obviously, they've got the bye next week, but put on some points. Shark Park, Saturday afternoon. Got to throw the ball around a fair bit. A lot of good performances out there, and scored a heap of points. That's what they needed. They needed to bounce back. They bounced back in good fashion. I expected that from them today. They had to put on a bit of a clinic, and the only thing that disappointed me was probably the last 10 minutes of that game.
So let some points in late in that game.
But really good otherwise, and now they can sit back, they can have a week off, they can rest, hopefully get Cam McInnes back. That was horrible to see him go off, so yeah, fingers crossed.
So the quote was an unstable knee, which could be
MCL,
a couple of weeks, but obviously by next week, so it's something, I suppose, for the Sharks. All the players mentioned they loved the afternoon game.
Yeah,
you said it then as well. Saturday afternoon, dry conditions. Yeah,
that's beautiful. When you're down Shark Park and the sun's shining and there's no rain, you get a full house, and that's what they'll turn on. But usually you get down there on a Friday night or a Saturday night, it gets a little bit dewy, always get a little bit of rain.
Yeah,
it's always wet down there. So to get there, to get and play there in front of a packed house in a nice bit of sunshine, nothing better.
Michael, Gold Coast led in the first half briefly, but it was a real cut up from there, wasn't it, the Sharks?
Yeah, a comfortable win there for the Sharks there, Spriggy. Hello, Louis. But the Gold Coast Titans have just got one hand definitely on the wooden spoon, but yeah, they're really poor at the moment. If South Sydney win today, well, They're all about guaranteed, the spoon, you'd suggest.
Yeah. So
I can't see them winning today, though.
So what that does, though, for the time being, is with the Sharks now going up to 6th, that means our game coming up is 7th versus 9th, Broncos-Dolphins. There's actually, I'll get to all those permutations in a sec, but actually if the Dolphins win and win by enough, they could knock the Broncos out of the 8. So there's a few things to sort of still play out there, potentially. But the Sharks are 6th. There's a path to the top 4, MC, that they can, Penrith have a tough run home, of course. Sharks have the bye, then Newcastle, then albeit Canterbury, a tough one to finish with. But there's an opportunity. The Sharks are still in that top 4 mix.
Well, they fancy themselves not losing another game for the rest of the year. Obviously, they have the bye into, who did you say, the Dragons? Newcastle, and then Canterbury. So, and they fancy themselves against Canterbury as well. So, if they don't lose another game this year, they could sneak into the top 4.
Do they need a couple losses to go their way as well?
Not a lot. They need some, but not a ridiculous amount. Like, we're not talking, I don't think the Warriors will finish in the top 4.
No.
So, the biggest threat for that is obviously the Broncos and the Panthers, but the Panthers play the Raiders on Friday night in Mudgee.
Yes, it's going to be huge Friday because we have 4 of those teams in the top 5 because the Panthers are out of the top 4, but they all play on Friday across those games in Mudgee and Melbourne. Your texts are welcome as always, 0467 920 222. Kickoff at Lang Park coming up in under half an hour's time with Quentin Hull, Billy Moore and Zane Bojack. Speaking of though Southeast Queensland and the Titans, MC, what does that do? I mean, there's been renewed or a renewed sense around Des Hasler potentially staying on for next
He can't stay on. Like, they're coming last.
Does a loss like today compound that even further?
Well,
Like,
shouldn't.
they pull the trigger.
Right? They should have made the decision a month ago. You look at their lack of improvement.
Yeah, but is it the coach?
Well, I don't think it's... No, you're right there, Louis, because they can't, there's all been different things at play for the past couple of seasons, right? But they've got worse under his watch. He inherited a far better outfit under Justin Holbrook than if he gets sacked, whoever's going to inherit it next year, right? And this is my problem with Des Hasler at the moment. You look at the same questions that he came into the job remain. Hasn't been able to unlock David Fifita, right? What does their best 1-6-7 look like? We still don't know those answers, right? So, if you had that worked out, you go, okay, well, you can understand. But for 2 years... We're none the wiser. So what have they actually done for the past couple of seasons? I see no growth. I see no improvement. Louis is 100% correct. The fact that the players and the office staff and the board and the owners have to take accountability as well, because for so long it's just been a dumpster fire there. So I don't know. I don't see... you look at the clubs at the bottom of the roster, at the bottom of the ladder, right? I feel like none of them are far away from being good. We've had the Tigers at the bottom for a couple of years, and before that, when Newcastle won a few wooden spoons in a row, they were really poor squads. Yep. Right? The Titans, the Rabbits, the Knights, the Eels, the Cowboys, they're not in, none of them are in a disastrous state. So they only need some fine-tuning to potentially push for the finals next year, but I just can't see any improvement in that side under Des Hasler.
Yeah. I suppose the counter-argument, though, MC, is as far as having continuity. That this is a side that's done this for a few years now, new coach, and just go through that cycle again and again, and the failure happens, and they try again. And so, if you're tying in the idea of Tino Farsul, Aoi potentially getting overtures from elsewhere, other clubs, do they want a stable captain, stable coach going into the next year?
They need Tino. Without Tino, they've got nothing.
So the idea that Tino might walk if there's not a stable coaching situation also plays into Des Hasler.
Well, unless he doesn't like Des Hasler and wants a change, it's. I don't know how he feels, right? So I'm not sure. But it could be like, well, Tino, no, we're going to make a change. We'll take you along for the journey, whoever that coach may be, because I'm not sure if any of these guys knew that when Des Hasler's appointment was done in such secrecy, which is full credit to the Titans, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't leak at all. I still remember getting the email when I was at the airport after Origin. I was like, wow, that's bombshell out of nowhere, right? And they've safeguarded themselves by putting that clause in the contract that if they don't make the finals this year, they can get rid of him, right? If they keep him, they deserve everything they get next year.
Des Hasler, yes or no for next year, Louis?
I don't have a definitive answer on it because I don't think the coach is the answer. In saying that, if they're going to go a new coach, I think they've got to go outside the box. They can't keep recycling coach after coach after coach. If you're going to do it, you're coming last, things aren't working for you. Think outside the box, have a crack and do something different. And be the first club to do it. They've got nothing to lose. So I'd be thinking, if I was the CEO, I'd be trying to do something totally different. Someone like the Walker brothers, who knows? I don't know what the answer is, but they need to do something, that Titans side. But Yeah, I feel like every time people go up there, it becomes a holiday and not rugby league first. It's holiday first, then rugby league second.
0467 920 222. Titans are a basket case, says Wazza. Jack in Port Macquarie says South still have a bye, so they're safe for the spoon. You would think it's Gold Coast or Newcastle. Knights won't win another game either, says Jack. So
potentially,
take the opportunity. MC, the coup is on. L. Lewis will be on number 2, says Waddy from Vorpal. I won't stand in your way, MC, but I think Maury's will be back before you know it. Ben, thank you for your text. And a few more of them sent texts. I think they came through to Glenn earlier on. 0467 920 222. Missing the Dipsy Doodles, the game set bingo, the put a fork in me, I'm done. The he strikes it, he likes it, among many other Maurisms. Speedy recovery, Andrew from Stray Bulldog in Mosman, and Louise from Glenwood. Thanks for the great call. All our love and best wishes to Andrew. Get well soon. Looking forward to hearing your voice again soon. We're 57 kilometres from the earthquake epicentre this morning. We shook pretty much for 3 seconds, but our region came through okay. I hope Parramatta has a great game. Go the Eels. Shout out to Trevor and Toss in Fig Tree, says Louise from Glenwood. So there you go. 0467 920 222. Another one here says move the licence from Gold Coast to Logan or Ipswich. We're not getting to that conversation around the long-term future of football on the Gold Coast in general, but there's been a long-term, I suppose, period of failure and a few different iterations.
They were tracking okay under Justin Holbrook. And I can't say that they're headed in that same path.
Yeah. That's a fair point. They've lost today to the Cronulla-Sutherland Sharks, 54-22. By the way, it's also the Sharks' biggest win by way of margin, for what it's worth. Win number 13 of this campaign. Around the grounds, those 2 full-time scores in the NRLW, Sharks 12, Titans 8, and the Broncos 38 beat Parramatta 4. Coming up, Warriors, Raiders not too far away in Hamilton. In New South Wales Cup, second half, Knights 6. In fact, now it's another try for Newcastle. They're 10-0 over the Dragons in the second half. In the Queensland Women's Comp, second half, Western Clydesdales trail Ipswich Jets 16-12. Queensland Cup, the Central Queensland Capras 6, lead winner Manly 4. Second half, Townsville Blackhawks 18 leads Mackay Cutters 10. And in the AFL second quarter, Hawthorn 48 leads Melbourne 8. AFLW last quarter, North Melbourne 39 leads Geelong 14. And just repeating as well, the team news from Lang Park. So firstly for the Dolphins, Trey Fuller has been named at fullback, which was forecast, so he'll wear jersey number 20. So for whatever reason, Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow will switch into the centres with Max Fiingo, the player, out. Peter Holler joins the bench. 18th man is James Walsh for the Finns, while the Broncos are 1-17. 18th man Jesse Arthurs. Of course, they are without Adam Reynolds, Ezra Mam, and Selwyn Cobbo. So that's what's still to come there. And as I mentioned, so if the Dolphins win by, I don't know the exact number, but like if it's a dozen or so, they could relegate the Broncos out of the top 8. So this game coming up is absolutely huge. 0467 920 222 is the SMS number. A reminder, of course, later on tonight there'll be cricket with the T20 in Cairns between Australia and South Africa. I know you love your cricket, MC. You're very excited about this T20 series in particular.
I do love my cricket. No interest in this T20.
Well, just in case you have interest, it's on the ABC Listen app later on from 7:30 Eastern Time. 0467 920 222. Lucas says, hey, Brett, what's that note on your back say? Louis been pretty good to me today, actually, I think.
That's what you think.
Oh, well, so far he has been anyway.
That's what you think.
And Cam from Carlo's asked for the Player of the Year points from that previous game. From memory, it was the 3 Nicho Hynes.
Yep. 2 to Maran Horady and 1 to Sione Katoa.
There we go, as awarded by Dean Hallertau in the ABC Player of the Year. You're with Brett Sprigg, Luke Lewis, Michael Carianis, and later on we'll be calling the game between South Sydney and Parramatta at the Sydney Football Stadium. And someone who won't be there, at least not as a player, is Sean Lane, who announced his immediate retirement from the game recently. He last played in Darwin in round 6 and then took a period of leave from playing, which turned into a permanent one. And that came at the still relatively young age of 30, having been the Eels Player of the Year only 3 seasons ago. He's remaining involved in footy, and I thought we'd get him on to tell us a bit more about it. Sean, how are you?
I'm doing well, mate. How are you?
Going pretty well. Just take us back to earlier this season. And I know that these sort of things go well beyond footy when we talk about mental health and looking after ourselves, but I'm sure it didn't help that the team was winless in that first month of the season. Overall, what was the catalyst, I guess, for firstly taking that break?
I'd kind of not been enjoying footy for for about 18 months almost leading up to that, and I'd had a difficult pre-season in regards to my body, my health. Had a hamstring injury and a knee injury that held me out for a while. So heading into the season, I felt very much underdone, and the last couple of years, I think physically I was feeling it a lot more than earlier on in my career, and Louis can kind of attest to the fact of how much more difficult it becomes as you get older, and I was definitely feeling that. So it started to have a bit more of an emotional impact when you can't really recover as well and play as well, and I was very sore after every game and every training session, and kind of had lost a bunch of motivation. So that's what led me to eventually reach out and say, yeah, I'm not really enjoying this that much anymore. I think I need to have some time off.
Yeah, and ultimately, how difficult was it to, I guess, decide at the age of 30 to walk away from an NRL career, which I'm sure, as it is for lots of kids, a lifelong dream, and you would have had that as well, and you had a great career. Was it a tough decision at the time, or were you buoyed by this change of direction and the opportunity?
Well, like I said, I kind of mulled over the thought of it for about 18 months, a year prior. It wasn't something that I had just made a quick decision on. I kind of knew in the back of my mind that this is what I wanted to happen. Once I allowed myself that space away from the game and to kind of consider everything, it just assured me that I was making the right decision by walking away. And like you said, it was a lifelong dream, a childhood dream of mine to play footy, and I got to accomplish that, so I'm very grateful. But I've said in the few interviews in the last few days that it was no longer a dream for adult Sean. I kind of had other things that I was interested in and wanted to do, and like I said, I'm thankful for my career, but onto other things now for me.
And so now, what is this role you're taking on at the Eels? I know it involves the mental skills and wellness space, and you've got some good qualifications in health science and psychology. So using all of that and your experience, I suppose, as a player, what are you hoping to bring to that role?
I'm just hoping to get the girls and the young lads to develop in a way that allows them to perform at their best and to deal with the challenges that they're bound to face in their positions. The women are in a unique position, and they're facing the promise of potentially going into full-time and professional roles in the next 5 to 10 years, and then kind of navigating the whole professional women's sport I guess ecosystem is a bit unique and different. And then also for the young lads moving forward throughout their careers are going to start facing challenges of the likes that I was able to kind of face and navigate through and understand different ways to be able to overcome them. So hopefully that's what I'll bring to that role.
Sean, mate, massive congrats first of all on your career, mate. It was awesome to watch and a pleasure to play against you and obviously call you doing this job. So well done. But how are you now, mate? How's the head and how are you feeling at the moment?
Yeah, thanks for that, Louis. Feeling really good, mate. Like I said, once I kind of went to Riley and told him I'm not having fun, I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, and started to come up with other plans of things that I could be doing, I felt like the weight of the world had lifted off my shoulders, because I was just putting all this pressure on myself to perform at the standard that I knew I was capable of, but I wasn't really as physically capable anymore, and I wasn't motivated to do it. So once I kind of pulled the pressure off myself and allowed myself to just kind of do the things that I want to do now, it just felt really natural for me. And there's always going to have times where you think about your career and look back on it fondly, but I realise that that's in the past now, and I'm looking forward to moving on in different ways. So I understand that there's a lot of blokes out there who struggle once they move on beyond their career, but I think I'm a guy that's going to be able to handle it quite well because of all of the things that I kind of got off the field.
Man, obviously going through this time, because everyone's got to go through it sooner or later. Everyone who plays our game will have to retire. But was there someone close to you that you sat down, you had a good chat with, and sort of helped you come up with the right decision, and you got to explain all this too? Because sometimes you just don't know who to talk to.
Yeah. I'm lucky enough that I'm really close with my family and my partner. I can talk to them about absolutely anything. So throughout my career, I've had obviously plenty of challenges that I've faced, and they've been with me throughout all of those challenges, and so they understand the highs and the lows. And as the years went on, I guess the lows got to me in different ways and kind of contributed to me losing a bit of passion and motivation moving forward. So it was a very long process of me kind of losing passion for playing as much. And then, I guess throughout the last 12 months, I was having consistent conversations with my family, with my girlfriend, around the fact that I wasn't really enjoying playing, and I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to do it for, and about the plans that I was making for myself off the field as well.
And mate, one last question for me, because I could sit there and go all day, because I always find it interesting when people come up with retirement and how it gets to their head. But mate, what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge now moving forward?
Well, I've gotten myself into a bit of business now, so that's actually quite challenging, learning different things and new skills. Although I'm really looking forward to that challenge and doing something new. I guess just kind of like most players, once they retire, have only been enveloped in that whole kind of footy bubble their entire lives and their entire careers. Most of us will come out of high school and go straight into those kind of full-time programs. So learning new things and being able to adapt to a whole new way of life is something that's an enormous challenge for a lot of players. But I think that's kind of something that I'm looking forward to more than I am afraid of it, or that I feel will kind of rattle me in any way.
Sean, congrats on your career, mate. Have you enjoyed watching footy again? Have you been able to sit back as a fan again now and watch the product?
Only a little bit. Like, to be honest with you, the last couple of years, I'd barely watch any footy at all. I'd watch the reviews and the previews and stuff like that as a team, and then I'd maybe sit down and watch some footage of the team that I was versing on the weekend and of myself. But, the fact that I was kind of becoming less and less motivated to play also contributed to the fact that I was just kind of like not wanting to spend time watching it either. So I think the last couple of months has been about giving me some space away from the game, not really watching it that much, so that eventually when I do start watching again, I can actually appreciate it for what it is a bit more. So at the moment, I'm really only watching Para play and my good mate Alex Johnson, who's closing in on the try scoring record, but hopefully doesn't get it tonight.
Just lastly, we're speaking on ABC Sport 2, former Eel, Sea Eagle, Bulldog and Warrior Sean Lane, who's announced his retirement officially now and moving into a new player welfare and mental health space at the Eels. When you reflect, Sean, on your career over 11 seasons, you were the Player of the Year in a grand final year at the Eels only 2.5 years ago. What have been the highlights or the most eminent highlight for you?
I think my best game personally was probably the preliminary final in 2022. That was one of like the highlights as a team as well, and being able to accomplish that after several years of kind of coming up short and knowing we had the ability to make it there. Obviously, we didn't come away with the chocolates at the end of the day, but it was a year I look back on and I'm quite proud of professionally. And then one of the things that I'm most proud of is just being able to learn and grow as a person throughout all of the experiences I've had. And I think when I got together with Para at the end of the 2023 season and made a documentary around athlete well-being and mental health and whatnot, that was something that I'll always look back on and be super proud of, that I was able to accomplish while I played.
Even though it wasn't something that you needed to be a part of yourself in a playing capacity, this first year under Jason Riles has unearthed some positives, hasn't it? There have been some great moments. The team's had 2 wins in the past 3 starts. And is there a renewed sense of optimism, I suppose, about how things are looking into the not-too-distant future?
Yeah, for sure. He obviously had his hands full coming into the team. We're ageing and we're playing a style of footy the way that he kind of didn't really want to play. So he had to make a lot of change and brought in whole new staff, whole new way of playing footy. And then a few of us older blokes, or the ones who are getting towards the end of our career, had to move on. But with that, it's brought a lot of opportunity for some young blokes and for Para to develop some local talent. And I think the way that they're playing footy, especially over the last month, like you said, has been pretty exciting, and I think everyone at Parramatta's pretty optimistic leading into next year about what can be for us.
I'm glad you mentioned Alex Johnston, because of course we're calling him and your Eels teammates tonight at the Sydney Football Stadium. Sean, appreciate your time. It's great to see you be such a proactive figure in the mental health space, which we all know is so important. All the best to you and for your teammates tonight.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
Sean Lane with us here on ABC Sport, and that's I'm glad to get the insight there from him there as far as his work now full time in that space. Louis, you've spoken before about, I guess, the misconceptions or misnomers about footy players when it comes to mental health that perhaps isn't better understood by most people publicly. Like, for example, people will say, well, footy players are well paid, earn good money, and life should be sweet. But obviously there are challenges that most of us don't know about.
Oh yeah, there's lots of challenges. Injuries are probably one of the biggest, because you sort of, you're still getting paid, you're not playing, which is horrible. You watch your teammates out there, you feel like you're missing out. You get left alone. You're sort of always, by yourself. Whatever sort of happens, or you have a bad game, you go home. You hear about it from on socials, this, that, and the other. If you're into that, I was never into the socials, so it never really bothered me. But there's a lot of different moving parts to it all. But the mental health space is huge. But